Lord add a blessing to the reading, doing, and hearing of his word. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Come on, let's put our hands together. Come on, we're in the house of God now. We came here to magnify our King, to thank you for another day. Hallelujah. You know the song, sing along.
Let's get the word out. It's been gone for much too long.
Say what I heard sounded good to me. Every statement backed by the scriptures that I read. Nothing has made sense like this before. The truth in Christ and a little bit more.
Don't have to go to heaven to bring our Lord down. Don't go overseas to find the truth around. Don't have to pay money no matter what you heard. Don't have to be lonely when you're searching for the word. Let's get the word out. It's been going for much too long that Christ has a plan. And it's right there in your hand. Let's get the word out. It's been going for much too long, so tell someone you love that the book will tell it all.
I was so blind and could not see what the Bible was trying to tell me. It was right there in front of me. Without understanding, it blew my mind.
Don't have to go to heaven to bring our Lord down. Don't go overseas to find the truth about. Don't have to pay money no matter what you heard. Don't have to be lonely when you're searching for the word. Let's get the word out. It's been going for much too long that Christ has a plan. And it's right there in your hand. Let's get the word out. It's been going for much too long, so tell someone you love that the book will tell it all. Let's get the word out. It's been going for much too long that Christ has a plan. And it's right there in your hand. Let's get the word out. It's been going for much too long, so tell someone you love that the book will tell it all.
Don't have to pay money. Don't have to be lonely.
Searching for the word.
Don't have to pay money. Don't have to be lonely.
Searching for the word. Let's get the word out. It's been going for much too long that Christ has a plan. And it's right there in your hand. Let's get the word out. It's been going for much too long, so tell someone you love that the book will tell it all. Let's get the word out. It's been going for much too long that Christ has a plan. And it's right there in your hand. Let's get the word out. It's been going for much too long, so tell someone you love that the book will tell it all. Let's get the word out.
Hallelujah. Yes, let's get the word out there. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. I'm telling you, how many know God is awesome? Do you know He's awesome? Our God, He can part the Red Sea. Huh? He can stop time. He can raise the dead. He can even heal you when He's oh,
Hallelujah.
Our God is awesome. He can move mountains. Keep me in the valley. Hide me from the rain. My God is awesome. Heals me when I'm broken. Strength when I am weak. Forever He will reign. My God is awesome. He can move mountains. Keep me in the valley. Hide me from the rain. My God is awesome. Heals me when I'm broken. Strength when I'm in weak. Forever He will reign. My God is awesome. 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 My God is awesome. 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 My God is awesome. Savior of the whole world, giver of salvation. By His stripes I am healed. My God is awesome. Today I am forgiven. His grace is why I'm living. Praise His holy name. My God is awesome. 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 My God is awesome. 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 He's holy. 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 He's awesome. Our God is awesome. He's great. He's great. He's great. He's great. He's great. He's great. So great. He's great. So awesome. He's mighty. He's mighty. He's mighty. He's mighty. He's mighty. He's mighty. Awesome. Our God is awesome. Protector. 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 Awesome. Our God is awesome. Provider. 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 Awesome. Awesome. Deliverer. 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 Awesome. He's mighty. 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 Awesome. Awesome. He's holy. He's holy. He's
holy.
He's holy.
He's holy.
He's so holy.
He's holy.
He's
Awesome.
awesome.
My God is awesome. He can move mountains. Keep me in the valley. Hide me from the rain. My God is awesome. Heals me when I'm broken. Strength where I am weak. Forever He will reign. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Praise the Lord in Jesus' name. It's always a pleasure to stand before you, present the word of God. Had a great feast week. I'm sorry, I don't want to lose my thought up here on this lesson. We had a great feast week, though.
Yes.
The other night, back to reality, back to normal a little bit. It was good to see Sister Mildred and her husband got out to Abigail, and had a great time out there as well. So as you see today, our lesson will be husbands love your wives. And here's the funny thing about the title of today's class. So everybody thinking I'm coming here to pick on the brothers. The husbands are the heads of the household. So that's what's always gonna start. Now, a couple of weeks ago, we dealt with what marriage is and how you are, what makes you married, the physical aspects of it. Today, we're gonna look at a little more of, how you handle and conduct yourselves in the home, and what, is the husband like just supposed to be the boss of the house and everything just roll the way he said. We're gonna look at some of those things, how the Bible puts it out there. I will say one thing. This is 2017, and society has really screwed up the household. I look at myself and I understand that it wasn't my father who taught me how to run my home, but it was my grandfather, meaning that there are gaps in places of information to provide for us to comprehend how we're supposed to do something. I got a cousin, he's in the Word, and his dad used to be so mean to him. So we were chopping it up one day, and I say, well, his dad probably mean to him. He probably don't know how to love himself. And so, what do we expect? And that's the thing about husband and wives and trying to uphold these relationships. We don't really know how to be a husband to our wives, or even with the women, we don't even know how to be wives to our husbands. Now, most of us are brought up in homes with mothers, so it's a little easier for a woman to understand how to run a home, and they watch their mother do it. But again, society has screwed us up, and this goes back all the way. It goes back beyond this point, but it even goes back to the days of slavery and how, I remember reading a letter, what they call the Willie Lynch letter, and how they basically took this black man and, brutalized him in front of the woman and put what we call a level of fear in her, so that when she raises her son, she's raising her son in a level of submission where she is beginning to receive power and authority because she's in the master's house. And so what happens is it's creating a vicious cycle of being basically backwards. Basically being in a position where now everything is out of order. I want us, before we go to our actual lesson, I want us to go to Deuteronomy chapter 28. I want to show you something that was in the curses. And I want you to understand that today we're going to dig in the book. I don't even have one of y'all lesson plans. I think they might be similar, but it don't matter to me because we're going to cover all of this that I got on my paperwork here. But we're going to go to Deuteronomy 28, and we know this to be the blessings and the curses, right?
That's right.
And, you know, we all here are aware that we have been placed as a nation, the children of Israel have been placed under a curse. But one of the things that I know I oftentimes read over when we deal with the curses, we're going to start this off at verse 53. This is where we're going to start it off. Deuteronomy 28 and 53. Today we're going to read a lot of books, and we're going to try to build with one another and get this. Because the foundation for a successful marriage is really going to start with God. Anything else is not, and I know some of these houses, they, you know, where the husband is doing one thing, the wife is doing something else. It doesn't really matter. You keep that foundation to the best that you can in God. Not in what's my man's name, Steve Harvey, and his, you know, explanation to a woman on how to think like a man. That ain't where it's at. We're gonna keep it with the Bible, okay? And it's gonna cut. You got to understand that the Bible is a book that's supposed to be educating you and causing you to become better. That means that there are things that you are doing wrong or did not know that the Bible is telling you to do better or to improve more or to correct.
That's right.
So it's going to cut. It's going to show you yourself. And if it doesn't, then either one, you perfect, or two, you perfect. So we're going to go ahead and start this off in Deuteronomy 28. And let's start this off at, what I said, 54? 53? All right, we'll start at 53. When you get there, go ahead.
Thou shalt eat the fruit of thine own body, the flesh of thy sons and of thy daughters,
Go ahead.
which the Lord thy God hath given thee in the siege and the straitness, wherewith thine enemies shall distress thee.
All right, so where we are right now, looking at the curse, we just jumped in the middle of the curses. And this is actually just talking about, you know, how when the children of Israel get taken out of the land, how it's going to go down. So we just jump in the middle so that when we get to what we're looking for, it won't be a shell. You know, we'll be able to follow. So go ahead.
54. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eyes shall be evil toward his brother.
So he's saying as we begin to get siege, go into the siege or into the captivity, he's saying that the man that is tender among you, you know, is very delicate, his eyes won't be very evil. All right, so this is what's happening to Israel towards his brother. Go ahead.
And toward the wife of his bosom.
And toward the wife of his bosom. So this happened years ago. The foundation or the stage was set upon Israel that, you know, that a man who once had love for everybody is going to now begin to look evil toward his brother and toward the wife of his bosom. Go ahead.
And toward the remnant of his children, which he shall leave. So that he will not give to any of them of the flesh of his children, whom he shall eat.
Go ahead.
Because he hath nothing left him in the siege, and in the straitness, wherewith thine enemies shall distress thee in all thy gates.
All right, so again, we're talking about, this started back when the children of Israel were going into captivity. And basically it's like, okay, whereas a man would love his children, love his wife, now he's looking at them a certain type of way. He's looking at them with an evil eye. Keep going, verse 56.
The tender and delicate woman among you, which would not adventure to set the sole of her foot upon the ground for the delicateness and tenderness, her eyes shall be evil toward the husband of her bosom, and toward her son, and toward her daughter.
So again, this actually took place in 70 AD, was the beginning of this. When the children of Israel was captured and taken out of the land, basically the foundation was staged for us as a people to be on opposite ends, the man and the woman. And eventually it continued to transpire till we get to, 2,000 years later. So it's like it just trickled on down to where we are today. So where now, we can't function with each other. And when I say we can't function with each other, we got sayings and we laugh about it, okay, live with them, can't live without them. But see, the reality is that saying is really some new saying that came along because of how, man, no, he can't live without his wife, but because of all the drama that takes place within a home now, But then a man like, well, I can't live with her. But the reality is, all of this started back when we was getting taken out of our land. See, what you got to understand is, when the children of Israel got taken out of their land, a man became just that, less than. And from that point on, whereas a woman is looking to her husband to provide, take care of, nourish. We're talking about before the days of how we function today. You know, man, he was the soldier, he was the hunter, and what the woman did was she was at home, taking care of the children, making sure that when he got home, everything was how he wanted it to be. But now when you put us into a captivity, to a slavery, and it's like backwards. Everything, the woman has now received the power, and the man, all he needed for is to go out here and work. So we beat him to death until basically we beat him into submission. Like you see in the movie, now his name told. Okay. So he said, a tender and delicate woman among you, which would not venture to set her soul or her foot upon the ground for delicateness and tenderness, meaning like she wasn't even to get out there and be working all hard. It's like, nah, they said her eyes should be evil toward her husband, her bosom. The husband of her bosom, and toward her son and toward her daughter. All right. So, at any rate, let's go ahead and get into this lesson. We're going, because that's what we building, I should say, away from. Then through the progress of the time, you know, some of them came along in the 1900s. You know, this what we call the women's rights movement. And believe it or not, just like to an extent, the civil rights movement really hurt the fabric of Black America. And how that's who all in this room. When I say that's who all in the room, it's not like we from Europe or we Africans, African Americans, Africans, like we live here. And prior to the civil rights movement, the one thing that we had was communities, and we had a sense of we needed one another. All right. And so it kept, we had, the church was truly the foundation of how a Black community really survived prior to the civil rights movement. But then now here comes the civil rights movement, and we want equal rights, and we want, what's just due, I guess we could say. And I'm not saying that the men that died or lost their lives are stupid. I understand their cause, but somewhere along the way, we lost ourselves as a group of people, further lost ourselves than what we were to start with. It got worse for us. We got more and more divided. And a nation that is not united, if it's divided, it's easy to conquer. Well, then just like that happened with inside the Black community, it's the same thing that happened inside the home when Susan B. Anthony and what's the Journal of Truth and all those people and Eleanor Roosevelt, when they began to bring out this women's rights movement. Now, we're not saying just like the Black man, he was getting oppressed. We ain't saying we need to ease off this burden off the Black man, just like we're not saying we need to ease off the burden off this woman. But what happened was now we have begun to divide the home now. Saying that the woman, she should be able to get out here and do this, she should be able to get out there and do that. Well, you taking the power from the man, and you saying, give it to this woman, give it to this woman. And through the course of time, what that is going to do is create what we have now, a situation where really women have a better opportunity, and I can bear witness to this. Women have a better opportunity in this society to take care of their homes, take care of their children, almost without a man. Meaning they better off. I know people who they get married, woman won't even change her last name, so we can keep the benefits that we've been getting, so we can make sure we can take care of this household. Because it's more difficult in this society. See, brothers and sisters, you have to understand there has been a conspiracy conspired against this particular nation. Matter of fact, let's go read it. Let's go to Psalm 83. I want us to read it. Because I want us to understand what we're doing today. What we're doing today is we're attempting to repair our home. Okay? But we got to understand that there is a problem in our home and where the root of it is. Okay? And it's not, we're going to get to Trust me, we're gonna get today to the okay, well, we're gonna read Husband and Love Your Wives today. Like we're gonna that's the origin of the household. That's the beginning of the household. Or better yet, the head of the household is the husband. If he ain't right, everything else, ain't nothing else gonna fall apart. We're gonna get there. But I want us to understand that systematically, society is really trying to place the women, black women, ahead of the black men. Now, they ain't doing this in the Gentile society. Like, I mean, look, I give you a perfect example. They're not doing this in the Gentile society. So who we got for president now? My buddy Zach. You think Hillary was gonna win, though, huh? You know what I'm saying? Like, you really thought, because the Gentile, like, no, this don't operate like that. Now, me and my wife would have been running. She might be president, and I might be first man. Right, you know what I'm saying? Because there's a more level of security that the world gonna have with my wife. And then you gotta understand too, in this conspiracy, and let's read this. Psalm 83, and let's start at verse 1, 2, and 3. Psalm 83, verse 1, 2, and 3. Go ahead.
Keep not thou silence, O God. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O God. For lo, thine enemies make tumult, that they say that they hate thee that have lifted up the head.
Mm-hmm.
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones.
Okay, so you see, they have made taken crafty counsel against us and consulted against our hidden ones. That's why when you look at the prisons, we all up in there, black men. You know, and then they feeding us in this present day era with this new homosexual agenda. You know what I'm saying? So now, you know, I'm looking at, I was watching something the other day, and I'm like, this dude got on fingernail polish? Like, forget what he just said. I'm like, wait a minute, like one of the NBA players. I'm like, he got on fingernail polish. Like, so they're trying to feminize the black man and making it acceptable and okay. There is a conspiracy because you got to understand, in order to conquer, you must divide. You know, and this ain't something new. Pharaoh came through, killed the black boys. Herod came through, killed the black boys. So this ain't. I guarantee you, it's more men hung on ropes in the 18 and 1900s than black women. You know, during the Jim Crow era, because we know in order to destroy this nation, we must destroy the men. Okay, so that is why the class is Husband Love Your Wives, is because the man has been beat up so bad, we don't know how to love our wives. Now, I want you to know that on your paper, they have the scriptures purposely taken off or not put in your paperwork, because I wanted to add them in there, because I didn't want you to just look at it and think you knew what the class was. So I'm just letting you know that. So we're going to be adding, that's what I said, we're going to get in the book today. All right, so at any rate, we're going to go ahead and pick this up at 1 Corinthians. We're going to get to the scripture that's on our paper. 1 Corinthians chapter 7. 1 Corinthians chapter 7. And we're going to start this at verse 1. 1 Corinthians 7 and 1. And when you get there, go ahead and read.
Now concerning the things whereof ye wrote unto me, it is good for a man not to touch a woman.
All right. Oh, I'm sorry. Did that work? Oh, verse 1 and 2. Keep going. Yeah.
Nevertheless, to avoid fornication, let every man have his own wife.
All right. So, first thing is, look, Paul said, look, it's good that if a man can just, you know, that's Paul too. He said it's good that a man don't, you know, have touch a woman, but to avoid fornication. So I got a phone call this week earlier, and it was like, can you show me that fornication is physical and not spiritual? Because a lot of times people try to say in the Old Testament that fornication was just spiritual between you and God. And I get that. But fornication, notice what it's saying. Never, he said, now concerning the things where you wrote unto me, it is good for a man not to touch a woman. Like if he could be a eunuch, or if he could be celibate, that's cool. Because we're going to see later that he's going to be able to focus on God. That's cool if he can do that. Nevertheless, to avoid fornication. So this is letting you know we're talking about something on a physical level. To avoid fornication, let every man have his own wife, and let every woman have her own husband. All right, so that's where we're gonna start this at. So let's go over to Proverbs chapter 18. So the intent, or from the origin of the story, I'm just gonna tell you, it was for every man to have his own wife and every woman to have her own husband. All right, now I don't know what does happen through the course of time, but we know that stuff that got screwed up. And brothers might have, a wife and 2-3 other baby mamas, and a woman might be married to a man now, and she got a baby there, like all this stuff here. I mean, even though it is what it is in our society, it's not how it's meant to be. It was meant to be that you was, as a woman, you grew up in your mother's home, you learned how to be a woman, and then a man came along and basically he got you from your parents. And now you in this home. And you raised and you taking care of this home like your mother took care of her home. That's how it was meant to be. And it was meant for that man to provide and take care of that home and that woman and these children that are a blessing from the Lord. All right, but let's go to Proverbs chapter 18. Proverbs chapter 18. When you get there, we're going to read one verse there, verse 22. When you get there, Proverbs 18 and 22, go ahead.
Whoso findeth a wife findeth a good thing, and obtaineth favor of the Lord.
So now, he's saying if you get a wife, you get a good thing, and you obtain favor from the Lord. So that's what a wife is for a man. He is to help you. That means you are not alone. Like I told my younger cousin when she got married, I said, your husband, y'all teammates and partners for life now. You got somebody to walk, travel this weary road, as we like to say. Because it ain't going to be easy. All right? But now we're going to go to Amos chapter 3 and verse 3. Amos chapter 3, verse 3. Amos 3 and 3. That's like after Daniel. So it's in the Old Testament for those who don't know. Amos chapter 3 and verse 3. Amos 3 and 3. So this is the easy one, but I want you to keep this one on your records. You know what I'm saying? I want you to consciously remember this in your daily, because this is beginning to be the problem in a lot of our homes. All right, so go ahead and read this verse.
And two walk together except they be agreed.
Right, two people can't walk together unless they agree. So like, these brothers, I was talking to a brother, he single, he's interested in the wife. And I'm telling him, I'm like, look, man, you don't want to sign off like you interviewed. But really, you want to make sure y'all on the same path. Like, so, you call it what you want to. It ain't like you go make it official when, you signed up for a job and, you come in at 8 o'clock for your interview. But you want to know, like, is she interested in God? Does she pray? How often do she pray? You know what I'm saying? Let alone that she know how to cook or whatever it is you like. If you like amusement park rides, whatever the case is. Two people can't walk together unless they agree. That's the bottom line. So, a lot of times we just be so quick to look at the outer that, we like, oh, okay, yeah, she's a good looking woman, I want her. And next thing you know, you done found yourself, especially when you deal with the word of God, and we understand that, once you done made yourself, as we learned last week, one with one another, now you got a process to go through. You got to take her to be your wife now. And at this point, whether you like it or not, whatever whatever position you put yourself in, now you got to deal with it. Okay? But at the same time, as you took the proper channels, and I ain't saying interview, but I really am. Like if you would have went through it, put it through, we call it back courting, dating. You know what I'm saying? But like we saying, slow it down though. You know what I mean? Like, and especially to my younger brothers and sisters. Look, I guess you want to know if she can kiss at some point. I guess you want to know that. But just know what all that leads to though. All that touching and stuff. It's going to take you to a path to where now you faced with the situation of, what are we going to do next? Because each time you want more. Next thing you know, well, how much further can we go now before we start to make this covenant? So, I would advise, hey, be patient with that. To Micaiah, that's my dog. Like, be patient with that, slow it down. Like, don't worry. I mean, you'll figure out if he can kiss later on. Way later. Like when you're 33. No. Right. But you'll figure it out though, whether he can do all that. But really, because you gotta understand something, in the Bible days, sure, a marriage was arranged, it didn't have nothing to do with it. It had nothing to do with who looked like what. It was, me and my wife, and Gary and his wife, and hey, so how we gonna do this, bro? Cause I got $4 over here, and you got 4 sons. And I'm telling you this, and here's the crazy part. And it's gonna cost you all of them. I love them all. And he like, I got 4 sons, they need wives. All right, we'll work, make sure we got what we need. Now, the kids ain't have nothing to do with that. I mean, so what I'm saying is, so when you start going to a biblical perspective, you got to understand that all the physicality of it wasn't in play when the marriage was arranged. Like when you look at Mary and Joseph, like it said Joseph was going to put Mary away privately because they hadn't come together, but they was married though. So that means that you don't have to know what you getting yourself into on the physical, as long as you know where you getting yourself into the mental, because all that stuff is overrated. And really, when it boiled down to it, like I was telling the brother, I said, look, man, all that coveting and lust, that's at the beginning, but that wear out after a while. Even with who you love, that wear out after a while. And what you got left now is love. You know what I'm saying? So it makes it different. It gives it a different aspect on it all. Because now you laying here with somebody that you love, not just somebody you lusted at. That's all it is at the beginning. I can tell you right now, that's what it was with me and my wife. It was lust. Like I saw her, she having some lose my money honey shorts. That's what I saw. That's all I saw. You see? So what I'm getting at, that's all it is at the beginning. So what you have to learn to develop is a level of love. You got to learn to respect love and what it is. And that's what we're going to learn a little bit about today as well. So again, Amos 3:3 say, can 2 walk together except they agree? So let's go over here to Ephesians chapter 5 now. Ephesians chapter 5. Ephesians chapter 5. Somebody one time asked me, do we do marriage counseling at our church? And I said, yeah, but to understand what that means is, we teach the word every Saturday, and we're going to learn these lessons. But also, brothers and sisters, you have your elders as examples. Like, for example, I know a brother named Caleb. I'm giving him a shout out just so you know. But him and his wife, so when I got married, they had about 13. Yeah, when I got married, they had about 13 years in. And I use them as an example. So if I need some counsel, which he's given me, Brother Caleb has given me much counsel over the years, then I'm going to go to him. Because he's doing it, just from my eyesight, he's doing it right. Or he's doing it right enough for me to learn some lessons. It's just like, for example, anybody in here want to be a millionaire, I would advise him to ask that bum on the street. He ain't going to tell you how to be no millionaire. But if you go to a millionaire, then, or if you watch that millionaire, then you can learn the procedures on how to become. So the same thing with a marriage. If you want to learn how to have a successful marriage, then you might want to pay attention to somebody that's still doing it. That just makes sense to me. So that's why I said, well, I looked at my grandparents, they put in 40 years. That's how long before my grandfather died. So I was watching that. I didn't even know I was watching. I was watching it. So I was determined to outdo my dad, because my dad stuck around for about 7. You know what I'm saying? But I had a good example to see, like, all right, I see what's going on. Like, you can do it this way. It's a way to rule your house. They call my granddaddy King George. So it wasn't like he was 40 years and that's a whole other story. Like, it's still, it's going to always be work. Remember that. There's no get quick fix scheme to anything, especially when you put 2 people together, especially under the terms and the situation and all the things that are battling against your success. It's definitely going to be a difficult process, but you're going to learn to respect it over the years. Let's go to Ephesians chapter 5 now. Let's pick this up at verse 22. Ephesians 5 and 22. And we're going to get into it. Let's pick it up at verse 1. What's wrong? Go ahead. 5 and 22. Ephesians 5 and 22. I ain't skipping nothing, did I?
Ephesians 5:22.
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, that's a habit, y'all. Okay. Ephesians 5:22. All right, my bad. Go ahead.
Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands as unto the Lord.
All right, so now here we go. Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands as unto the Lord. So I want us to learn two things here. First of all, I want you to understand one thing here. When we're in the household, I'm gonna use my wife for example. I'm the head of the house, so pretty much when it's all said and done, after the argument is over with, then it's gonna be pretty much what I say. Let me tell you why. Not because I'm so smart, not because I can beat her up, but because she really submitting to the Lord. And the Lord has established the order that she respects. See, the only way you're going to get this to work, brothers and sisters, is both of y'all got to be having the same goal in mind that we trying to serve God. God established the order. That's the only way. So, yeah, I come in I was talking to Cam and I say, well, the only thing people really fear or respect is fear. Now, this is why men come home and beat their wives, because they won't fear. But that's because it's when you got God there, let her fear God. And let her deal with answering to God, not so much answering to you. And I'm going to give you an example of that real in a short. We're going to finish reading some more of this. Go ahead.
23. For the husband is the head of the wife, even as Christ is the head of the church, and he is the savior of the body.
Now, I want you to pay attention to that. It said, even as Christ is the head of the church, and is the savior of the body. Meaning, look, as a man, your job is to make sure that this train, this show is going in the right direction. I got to make sure that my house be serving God. You know what I'm saying? That my kids getting a good education. Now, I'm going to tell you, my kids, they make good grades, right? My wife do all that. Now, she might sometimes say, well, JD, can you help me here with this? Yeah, but she do that. Meaning, but at the same time, if my kids wasn't, now it's my responsibility. What's going on here? Like, where is it that we need to go pay some tutors? Do we need to go? Like, these are decisions we gonna make. Okay, but so it is my job as the head of the house to make sure that we're walking down the right path. This is what he's showing you. He said the husband is the head of the wife. There has to be some type of order established with God. You gotta understand, like when I say that, like God is the author of confusion. So he laid down a law, and we know it. Adam was here first. That's what we know. And the woman came from him, excuse me. Or even one better, God is a man. Like some people be trying to say, well, he a woman? No, he's a man. So God gave order based off of that. That's just what it is. Now at the same time, order don't mean that, well, I'm the man, give me all the money. Don't mean that. Because if you a man that can't run your finances, I would advise you to find you a helpmate that got an accounting degree and let her handle that. All you are is you managing your team. That don't mean the manager don't make all the plays. That's stupid. Most of the time, the manager be lazy anyway, but we ain't gonna go there. I want these brothers to be like, JD said be lazy. we gonna make sure but I'm just saying, most of the time, as a manager, you delegate responsibility. Like now in my world, I manage this in my house. Now Sean take out the trash. Like, I'm not taking out no more trash. He do. You know why? That's how I do it. I had to take out all the trash. You get what I'm saying? Like I'm saying, I'm managing this now. That's why I understand when the Lord say, well, the bishop or something, we got to be able to manage his own house. Because if you can't manage your house, how you going to be able to manage the house of the Lord? Because they both be doing the same thing. You delegate responsibility actually to a larger amount of people. All right? So, wives, submit yourselves unto your own husband as unto the Lord. For the husband is the head of the wife, even as Christ is the head of the church and is the Savior of the body. Go ahead, keep going.
Therefore, as the church is subject unto Christ, so let the wives be to their own husbands in everything.
So, subject, definition, basically bring under one's control or jurisdiction. That means that when we walk past here and I say whose jurisdiction is this, then it's going to be Brother Paul's jurisdiction with him and his wife. Meaning that he is the one that's responsible. So now, if Brother Paul's kids act a fool, guess what I'm going to be looking at? I ain't looking at the kid. I'm looking at Brother Paul. That's your jurisdiction over there. That's like these people are under your rule. You better figure this one out. Okay? Keep going on. That's what subject means. I'm sorry. It means when you put yourself, I mean, it has other definitions. Under the authority of, so somebody has the authority and it is the man. Now, I don't want you to get authority confused with fist. Like that, like fist ain't got nothing to do with authority. Let me tell you what I learned. A fist just means you ain't got the skills with your mouth to be able to hold this conversation. I mean, and that's on any level. From World War III to, 2 people out on the streets till we got home. That's what that means. You know what I'm saying? It means that you don't have, so then you need to accumulate those skills at home. You need to figure it out. How is it that, like, you gotta figure, how is it that I can communicate with this individual to get them to understand my perspective? But again, you gotta understand in a husband and wife situation that still, as a woman, your job in submitting to your husband is really you placing your faith in God and in the way He placed the order. And we're gonna see plenty of scriptures today that's gonna really help us follow this a little better. But keep reading though.
Husbands, love your wives, even as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for it.
Right. So husbands, your job, like you love your wife, even as Christ, like you gotta look at what Christ did for the church. For example, when you go to Ezekiel 16, we're gonna look at it. Like the Lord, like He decked her out, made her look good, made her look beautiful. So that's your job. Like, okay, well, like you want her nails done. When I say you want her nails done, like you want her to look good. That's what y'all think look good. Then make sure her nails are done. Make sure she got the money for that. If it's her hair, which has been given to her for her beauty, for her glory. Now that don't mean you sit here, you've been bad this week, you can't get your hair done. Like, no, that's stupid. Because what you're doing is you setting yourself and you putting yourself in a situation where if I can't get it from him. See, when he say husband loves your wife, even as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for it. See, the way the Lord looked at what He did for Israel shouldn't have wanted nobody else. Because I gave you everything. I was the best to you. All right, everything within my power for you to have, from a good law to good land. So He's saying, like, you're supposed to, as a husband, trying to make it to where this woman don't want nobody or nothing else. All right, keep reading.
Let's see. That He might sanctify it and cleanse it with the washing of the water by the word.
Let's get down to 28.
So ought men to love their wives as their own bodies. He that loveth his wife loveth himself. See, that's something that brothers gotta really learn. That one, you gotta treat this woman like, for example, and I go back to the abusive relationships. Like, dude, you don't want nobody beating on you, but then don't beat on her. I mean, just that simple. Because He's saying here, so ought men to love their wives as their own lives. So you want to be provided for. You're going to take care of yourself, so make sure you take care of her. Like, okay, well, brothers have a problem with their wives being, or I shouldn't even say their wives, the woman being overweight. That's one of the problems that sometimes men have. Like, I know a brother, he was with a girl, and then he's like, man, they ain't together no more. He was like, man, she got too fat for me. I'm like, dude, first of all, she had your baby. You know what I'm saying? So, and secondly, why don't you take her to the gym, man? Why don't you take her outside and get to walking with her or something? Like, you didn't do what you sat here, you blamed everything on her, as if this is her fault that she put on all this weight, but you didn't do what you knew that you could do to help her keep the weight down if that was a problem to you. Although the Bible tells you anyway, beauty is vain anyway. You wasn't gonna never be satisfied. She would have lost the weight, you would have found another way. Okay? But I'm just saying though, like when brothers, that can't be the excuse. You know what I'm saying? You got to put the work in to help her be what you want. If she don't know how to cook, then put her in cooking school. Get your grandma a recipe, whatever it takes for her to learn. Now, if she just don't want to figure nothing out, or if she just dumb,
then that's your fault too, because you should have found you a smart. I mean, that's just about love. I'm sorry. I mean, that's like, whatever it is, it's on you, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, it really is. So now then, I guess you need to go ahead and get a tutor around. You know what I'm saying? But some, like, you know, but brothers be ready to run, like blaming the woman, like she done did this, she done did, or she ain't this, and I'm like, yeah, but really though, man, like if you know everything that you want, why you ain't showing her? All right. So he said, what verse was that, bro? At his own bodies. Okay, read 28 again.
So ought men to love their wives as their own bodies. He that loveth his wife loveth himself. For no man ever yet hated his own flesh, but nourisheth and cherisheth it, even as the Lord of the church.
Right, like the Lord cherished the church. So you gotta cherish that woman like she your jewel. She your like, this is like, I love this woman. She look good to you. You know what I mean? Like, and I want everybody to know, hey, like, well, this is my wife right here. You know what I'm saying? That's how the Lord was looking at Israel. But on the flip side, you know, Israel, we kind of started acting the fool and pissed the Lord off. And so he put her away, but that's a whole nother story. But go ahead, keep reading.
30. For we are members of his body, of his flesh, and of his bone.
Right, so he's just trying to say this is what a marriage is. Like, y'all one. That's what he's saying. Go ahead.
For this cause shall a man leave his father and mother, and shall be joined unto his wife, and they two shall be one flesh. This is a great mystery. But I speak concerning Christ and the church.
Right, that's crazy. He said, like, look, he went and showed you a mother and a father, they being one flesh. And then he said, well, this is a great mystery because I speak concerning Christ and the church, because really all he said is, and we're going to see it shortly, is that we supposed to be one, like into a covenant like the church is with Israel. Okay, well, exactly. Like God is with Israel, excuse me. Okay, and we're going to see that when we go to that Ezekiel 16. Yeah, so we'll let it take its course. So he said, this is a great mystery, but I speak concerning Christ and the church. Verse 33, go ahead.
Nevertheless, let every one of you in particular so love his wife, even as himself. And the wife see that she reverence her husband.
Nah, that's another term. That the wife see that she reverence her husband. So me and Josh was talking last night. Y'all know the word respect is a word that we use common in today. I know, right? It's, you know, like, you know, gonna put some respect on my name. You know, you gonna respect me, this is my house. Well, the Bible, I got you though. Yeah, I know, right? The Bible doesn't use the word respect like we use it. We took it to a more modern, and there's other words in the Bible that does that. The respect in the original form was, hey, man, Josh, you told me, I ain't write it down. But in its original form, respect was, because it's like the Lord had, what he said, the Lord had respect to Abel's offering. Right, like as if to say, I appreciate, or I really, the word I want to use is respect. But I'll tell you why we're getting there at this point. Reverence is really what a man is looking for in his home. Like he's like, man, you're gonna respect me. You know what I'm saying? You're really looking to be reverence. Now, the definition of reverence is honor or respect. In the perspective that we understand respect. Felt, shown, difference, especially profound, adoring, awe, like I'm in awe of somebody. So when you say reverence, it's like basically when you are honoring or like a profound adoring, like you know, like when you look at your wife or you look at your husband, it's like you think he like the greatest man on the planet or something. You know what I'm saying? This is what reverence is. This is a part of reverence. You know, and I do see it. And like I was telling Josh yesterday, I was like, yeah, she reverenced you. You know what I'm saying? Because we had a situation in the room yesterday. We sitting in here, she asked a question, then I peeped the audience now. She asked a question, right? So I gave an answer. Well, first I was like, that's a good question. You know, something to ponder on, something to think about. So I gave an answer. So Josh sitting over there and he's still studying and checking it out. Bam, Josh give an answer. And she just dissed my answer. Like, oh no, like I get it. This her husband though. You see, this is who is supposed to be teaching. I was watching, I was going over these scriptures while it's all happening. So it's kind of like the Lord like showing me in the midst of it all, like, yeah, I get it. Like, she adoring her husband. She's reverencing her husband. And for whatever reason they chose one another, it works that way. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's the thing. Whereas somebody else might look at you and be like, well, whatever. But your wife is supposed to have a level of like, you know, like an eye for her man. That's what reverence is, which is gonna give you that respect that we look for. Okay, when you don't have that reverence, then you ain't gonna respect. You ain't, you know, you're gonna be like, whatever. I don't know what he's talking about. He's right. He wrong, yeah, whatever. Put your hands on you. That's right. That's the opposite of reverence, or it's what we would call in this world is disrespect. Okay, so because you gotta understand something, that a woman is, and most times, definitely a weaker vessel. Not even just physically, but a little more emotional most of the time. Whereas the man he can take a little more pounding. Although I was there with my wife, gave birth to kids. I don't know if I should take that. But at any rate, so, you know, it's kind of like, with that being said, where a man taking the pounding of the world, it's kind of like he don't want to come home and have to take the pounding from his wife too. You know what I'm saying? You know, you can take a little more, but then on the flip side, you know, the woman, she a weaker vessel, like a man got to kind of play into that. You know what I'm saying? In order for this reverence or respect to work. But at the same time, if a woman gonna raise up on a man, like he looking like, well, dang. Like, I could beat up Billy, Tom, Mike, and you finna, like, are you serious? That's what we mean by that. That's what disrespect is. It's kind of like you taking yourself out of order. Okay. So the Lord is saying, look, that it said, nevertheless, let everyone in particular, verse 33, so love his wife even as himself, and the wife see that she reverence her husband. Okay. So this is what respect is, or again, honor or respect felt or shown. It's profound adorning or awe, like doing awe, something like how you get a brand new car, you're like, wow, I have my new car, you jump. That's how a woman is supposed to be to her husband. So let's go over here to our next scripture. Let's go to Romans chapter 12. Romans 12. Romans chapter 12. Romans chapter 12, we're going to pick this up at verse 9. So we read in Ephesians where it said, husbands, love your wives. We saw that already. And we know that's the title of today's class. So we're going to look at this verse 9 here. And it start with the man. And when I keep saying that because if a man if a man come in the house, and he taking care of his wife, and he loves his wife, she really ain't gonna be much of a problem. I mean, that's just about, she's not gonna give you much of a problem. Now, you know, sometimes it's gonna be, you know, I mean, life is life. Like, I mean, cut the light off. Well, I want the light off. I mean, life is life. You know what I'm saying? But typically, if a man is taking care of his business and he loves his wife, he's really not gonna have no problem, and this is gonna work. Even in the midst of the problems, if he's loving his wife, it's still gonna work. Typically. Now we got, you know, some people are just idiots. And I'm sorry if you married one, but you have to deal with that too. I mean, that's just about life if you married. But, or her. But let's pick up verse Romans 12:9. When you get there, go ahead.
Let love be without dissimulation.
All right, dissimulation. Y'all know what that word means? I know you know, Josh. It means love ain't supposed to be fake. That's what dissimulation means. Dissimulation means concealment of one's thoughts, feelings, or character or pretenses. Deceit is one of the synonyms. Dishonest, lying, guile. So he's saying right here, love ain't supposed. Now, husband, love your wives, but he's saying like, look, you supposed to be like we like to say 100. So if she walked in with that pink, black, and green dress on that you hate, don't tell her it look good. That's lying. Or if your wife make the chicken and you taste it, and don't lie to her and say, "Oh, sweetie, the chicken tastes good," when you know it was disgusting. Like you gotta be one, and see, but I'm gonna tell you what that does though. That honesty, even though sometimes you might like, you gotta find some nice ways to say your hair is a mess. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta find a nice way to put it because it could. I mean, you don't want to just be offensive and hurt your wife's feelings, but at the same time, I mean, if my wife think that lima beans taste good to me, and so she gonna keep cooking me lima beans thinking that they taste good. I hate lima beans. You see what I'm saying? So now I'm be sitting here like we really like we just creating unnecessary animosity because we ain't being honest. That's all. So he said, let love be without dissimulation. My Bible used the word hypocrisy, but I'm just saying by definition is don't let love be fake. All right, go ahead, keep reading.
Abhor that which is evil. Cleave to that which is good.
Go ahead.
Be kindly affectionate one to another with brotherly love. In honor, preferring one another.
All right, so that's what you got to think about. Like he said, husband, love your wives. Like preferring one another means that you got to look out for her over you. I mean, like honestly, like okay, well, so we got 2 outfits in the closet. Who gonna get the third? We both got 2 apiece. Who gonna get the third one first? Like the husband's supposed to prefer her over himself. Like, all right, you get it. I'm straight. Like this is how a man and a woman is supposed to function together. Remember, he's supposed to be taking care of her. Honestly. All right, keep reading.
11. Not slothful in business.
Oh, not slothful in business. Like love ain't slothful. Lazy. Like hold your spot there and let's go to Proverbs 22 and 13. I just wanted to see something. This is to my brothers and sisters though. Because sisters be acting like brother lazy, but you get home sometimes, you still at home watching the store. Sitting in front of there with the same basket of clothes, but since I'm walking home, you want to start folding the clothes now. That's like you watching clothes all day. Right, you know what I'm saying? So it go both ways now, but at the same time, I want us to see something that the Lord say about this lazy. So we're gonna go to Proverbs 22 and verse 13. Proverbs 22 and verse 13. And when you get there, go ahead and read.
The slothful man saith, there's a lion without. I shall be slain in the streets.
So this proverb here, he said a lazy man, basically what a lazy man do is make an excuse. And his excuse be good too, like, because if you say, well, it's a lion, it might be a lion out there. And he's saying, well, I'm gonna be slain in the streets. You're right. If you go on that street, why don't you walk out the back door though and go to the other block and get to where you gotta go? There's another way of doing it instead of making an excuse and being lazy about it all the time. You gotta figure it out. Like, oh, well, I got a felony, so I can't get no job. Or I can't pass my piss test, so I can't get no job. The urine test, for the drugs. Like, you just making excuses. Go get cleaned up. Go get a job. Like, I want you to go look at something else. Let's go to 1 Timothy, chapter 5. 1 Timothy chapter 5. We're going to go back to this Romans. 1 Timothy chapter 5. And we're going to pick this up at verse, there's a lot in here I could read, but I guess we'll start at verse 13, I guess. Yeah. I keep saying it, I'm reading right now. Let's start with verse 1. 5 and 1. Yeah, we just started verse 1. And we just we'll read this up one. So we're going to pick this up in verse 1 when you get there. 1 Timothy chapter 5 and verse 1. When you get there, go ahead.
Rebuke not an elder, but entreat him as a father, and the younger man as a brother.
See, one thing I want you to understand is the Bible is a very family-friendly, family-oriented book. So, especially to the youngers, to the youth, like, look, we got to come at the elders in a certain type of way. They ain't on our page. You know what I'm saying? When I say they ain't on our page, it ain't. I don't mean to offend you. I'm thinking one way. I'm old-fashioned, whatever. So as the youth, it's like we got to have a more polite way, even though, like me, sometimes, you know, I just might be like, I'm sorry. I mean, it's really, honestly, I might just say that, you know, or I might be quicker to just, you know what, they got it, I'm just gonna apologize. You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't even no sense on us going back and forth. Or I might be quicker to just shut my mouth, let you get it all out so I can hear you. And then even come back and respond, like, you know, to let you know, like, really, the way you just said what you said, like, that was a little disrespectful, whatever. But I'm gonna do what you said, you my elder. But the way you came about that right there wasn't cool. You know, there's other ways, but the whole point is rebuke not an elder and treat him as a father and the younger man as a brother. So to the, you know, us brothers, you know, we gotta look at the youth like they your brothers, not like you they lords, like you they bosses. You know, even though as the youth, we gotta look at the elders, you know what I'm saying, like our fathers. Give them that level of respect. I was scared of my dad pretty much to the last month he died. The only reason the last month he died, I was scared he had cancer. He was super frail. Other than that, I would never, ever, you know, like try my dad like that. You know what I'm saying? Like it just, I don't care. I don't know. It was just a level of fear, and that's what you have to learn from the elders who got lessons to give and are willing to give them. Brother Paul came up here during the feast and sure, you know, I'm like me and Marlon was sitting out there. I'm like, Brother Paul, I'm like, man, let brother Paul talk. I want to hear what he got to say. How often are you gonna have the opportunity to speak to one of your elders? And he was schooling us too. The moral of his story is don't retire broke, because you still gonna need some money. You know what I'm saying? So, and I caught it though. I was listening to him. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm telling everybody else, like, yeah, we got to figure out a way to stack some money when it's all said and done. Brother Paul saying we don't need to retire broke. You gonna still be working if you think you're gonna retire. You know, so the point is, listen to the elders. But go ahead, keep reading.
The elder women as mothers, the younger as sisters, all good.
Right, like with all honor and respect. Like the elder women, you supposed to treat them like you would your mom, but the younger, but at the same time, the elder women gotta treat the younger women like sisters, though. You know, not like you. Now, even though it's telling the younger woman to treat the elder women like a mother, it ain't like you their mama though. So therefore, you gotta respect that especially when you start talking about how they conducted their business. You know, you see their kids running around. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. Like you can't come to them like you their mom. They got one already. Every woman got their own mama. They don't need you to be into. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, they're gonna have a level of respect for you as a woman, like they would have for their mother. They would just talk to you in the old kind of way. I hope that the younger women ain't talking to the older women to their mama in the old kind of way. But I've seen that, you know, where I be like, dang, you talking to your mom about that? And my mom gonna slap me to the wall. Still, I'm not gonna talk to her back. Right? Come on, don't take no mess. But anyway, keep reading verse 3.
Honor widows that are widows indeed. But if any widow have children or nephews, let them learn first to show piety at home, and to and to requite their parents, for that is good and acceptable before God.
Keep going.
Now she that is a widow indeed and desolate trusteth in God and continueth.
Yeah, we're gonna skip all that. Let's skip down to verse 17. Yeah, skip down to verse 17. And when you get there, go ahead and read.
Let the elders that rule well be counted worthy of the double honor, especially they who labor in the word and doctrine.
Go ahead.
For the scripture saith, thou shalt not muzzle the ox that treadeth out the corn.
Go ahead.
And the laborer is worthy of his reward.
Keep reading.
Against an elder receive not an accusation, but before 2 or 3 witnesses.
Oh, I'm sorry. I see where I was supposed to go. I had to go. Let's go up to verse 5. This is why we're here. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Read verse 5. Verse 5. Verse 8. Verse 8. 1 Timothy chapter 5, verse 8. Let's go.
But if any provide not for his own, especially for those of his own house, he hath denied the faith and is worse than an infidel. All
right. So, because remember we came here based off of us going to in Romans 8, which we're going to end up back at. Romans 12, and we're going to end up back at where we're saying don't be slothful. Then we went over the Proverbs when it was like, you know, don't be making that lazy man excuse like, oh, it's a lion out there in the streets. You know what I'm saying? Like, he gonna eat me or whatever. So now it's saying if anybody don't take care of his, he said, he said, why I can't see the final doggone verse? Yeah. Oh, verse 8. But if any man provide not for his own, and especially for those of his own household, he's denied the faith and is worse than the infidel. Now, infidel is somebody really who ain't in the faith. That's what an infidel is. That's not in the religion. So if you ain't taking care of your house or making sure that it's taken care of, then that's what you are, an infidel. Or you worse than that. Now, I do understand society, man. Society really got it backwards. And it's really pushing it backwards. But you still, as a man, need to make sure that your house is straight. It's taken care of. Okay? Let's go over here let's go back to Romans chapter 12. Let me go get a job. Just in case you can't read between the lines. Go work. Find some kind of work to be doing. All right, Romans 12, and let's pick it up at verse, where do we leave off? Oh, 11. Not slothful in business. This is what love is. Fervent in the spirit, serving the Lord. Go ahead, verse 12.
Rejoicing in hope, patient in tribulation, continuing instant in prayer.
So this is what love is, and this is how you're going to build the foundation of your home. You're going to stay instant in prayer. You're going to, rejoice in hope. You're going to be patient in tribulation. You're going to be patient when y'all going through y'all trauma. All right, keep reading.
Distributing to the necessity of saints.
Go ahead.
Given to hospitality. Bless them which persecute you. Bless and curse not.
Keep reading.
Rejoice with them that do rejoice, and weep with them that weep.
So what Paul is doing is showing you what love is, okay? But let's get down to verse 16.
Be of the same mind, one toward another.
So that's what we're supposed to be as husband and wives. We're trying to be on the same mind, one toward another. All right? Like we're trying to stay on the same agenda with each other. Keep reading.
Mind not high things, but condescend to men of low estate. Be not wise in your own deceits.
Go ahead.
Recompense to no man evil for evil.
So when we're talking about love, now this is a big problem in our house. Like, okay, you gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. We're not supposed to be recompense or tick for tack, evil for evil. You know, just because one person, just like I said, two wrongs don't make it right. That's the bottom line. We're gonna let the Lord deal with that. That's the best way to do it. We're gonna see that as we progress through the class. Keep going.
Provide things honest in the sight of all men.
Okay, that's good. You can read. No, let's keep going. We gotta keep reading. Keep going.
If it is possible, as much as lieth in you, live peaceably with all men.
Right. So if it's possible, as much as that's in you, you gotta try to live at peace with your husband or your wife. Like that's if it's at all possible. But you gotta put forth the effort. Go ahead, keep reading.
Dearly beloved, avenge not yourselves, but rather give place unto wrath. For it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repay, saith the Lord.
Right, so that's the bottom line. Like, it don't make sense for you to go out and get your revenge when the Lord has said, he'll get the revenge. He'll handle that. Whatever just went down, just take it to the hands of the Lord. Sister, if your husband ain't doing you right, go pray about it. And and here's the crazy thing about it. You praying about it, but in the back of your mind, you know that. You know, like, man, if I hand this over to the Lord, you might not go well for my husband. You know what I mean? Like, so if you might even still be asking mercy, or sometimes you might be like, you know what? I'll just beat this one up. I do not want my husband in that type of jam. And it'd be the same thing, hey, woman, look, man, I ain't trying to take it. Like, I got this. I ain't trying to hand this over to the Lord, because I have to do that. I don't know what's gonna happen to you. You know, so that's the thing about it. But the point is, it don't make sense for you to try to take the vengeance, or for you to try to execute it because, he did this to me, so I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna destroy the car. Yeah, the car ain't y'all got to pay. He got to pay for it, so now you got to pay for it. Right. I'm gonna burn up all his clothes. And then you want to know why you like a bum next week because you burnt up all the clothes. Like, dang. And this is why you ain't getting nothing for a minute because now he got to replace some of that stuff. So everything got repercussions behind. Just let the Lord handle it. But really, you don't even want that. So I would advise, look, baby, I'm trying to be nice about the situation, but I'm trying this over to the Lord. We might want to figure this out. Because when you start handing stuff over to the Lord, it's ugly. You know what I'm saying? And we don't, you prefer not to go that route. You prefer for us to deal with this. We're going to try to learn how to be peacemakers. Let's go over here now to 2 Corinthians chapter 11. But what I want you to get, hey, I know, you can finish that verse. Oh, you got Proverbs in there? Oh, yeah, we need that. Yeah, let's go to this Proverbs. Let me get somebody give me one, what y'all got. I got a lot of stuff on here. Let's see what we got. Proverbs. Yeah, so let's go to Proverbs 13. Yep. Proverbs 13 and 10. We'll read one verse here. Proverbs 13 and 10. It's one of my favorites. I'll read this one verse here. Proverbs chapter 13 and verse 10. When you get there, go ahead and read it.
Only by pride cometh contention, but with the well-advised is wisdom. All
right, so basically what you're getting at is, when two people is going back and forth, though, it's just pride. Somebody, you got to remember, the Lord has set up an order. Somebody going to have to humble themselves to the situation. Like, okay, so do that mean, well, shut up all over here? Well, look, maybe if that's like the 50th time I've heard, but I still need to hear what it is that you, as a man to a woman, I need to hear how it is you feel, what it is that's on your mind. Okay, but as a woman, like, okay, well, I want to drive this vehicle, I want to drive that vehicle. We got two cars. Like, okay, well, if I'm saying, well, look, no, you're gonna drive this. Ultimately, that's well, I don't like that vehicle. It's too big. It's this, that, and the other. Okay, I'm gonna hear you. Okay, I'm gonna take into consideration. You know what I'm saying? I get where you're coming from. Then I might say, all right, well then go ahead and do this. Or I might be like, no, I'll take the one that you don't like. Because really, I may even give you an explanation. Because the other one, really, if you drive it, the tires could blow off, whatever. And your response might be, well, could you get the tires fixed? But the point that we're getting at is, when it's all said and done, we can conversate about it. But ain't no sense on arguing about it. Somebody got to take the low road, or somebody got to submit or humble themselves to the other. And God gave the order. Like that's what we missing. Like we trying to figure, it ain't no guesswork in who. God gave the order. So he said the man is the authority in the position. Now, men, you can't be abusing your authority. You gotta listen. Otherwise, you're gonna keep having somebody in your ear over and over, and it's gonna become annoying. You'll be like, well, hey, woman, I've heard this 15 times. Well, fix it. That's all she's saying. Fix the plumbing. It ain't working. And I gotta wash dishes by hand instead of dishwasher. Whatever the case may be. Like that's what I'm saying. You gotta consider yourself, put yourself in a position of going to work, and you hate the job assignment, and next thing you know, you telling the boss, and the boss ignoring you. You gonna want to quit. Like, dude, just slam the door in my face. He didn't hear nothing I just said. Okay, I'm gonna go look for a new job. That's what you doing, brothers, when you don't want to listen to what your woman is saying. It's like, okay, well, you don't want to hear, you got all this authority, but you don't want to hear what I got to say. Okay, then. Somebody gonna listen to it. But then notice what it said in the next part of that verse, but with the well-advised is wisdom. So keep that in mind too. Like sometimes you need to take your argument to one of your girlfriends, but I don't mean your girlfriend who at the club every night while you at home with the kids. Because her advice ain't gonna be nothing but to get you out there with her. You gotta go to one of these elders, one of these sisters who done did it before, and ask them. Bring it to them. Same thing with these brothers, with the well-advised. It's wisdom. Like, yeah, you gotta go, go to somebody who's been there already. You might not want to put your whole business out there, I understand that. So give them the scenario, whatever. But the point is, you need some counsel through it all in life. Somebody that already did it, go learn your lessons. So read that verse one more time. Proverbs 13:10.
Only by pride cometh contention.
So basically, again, pride is there, that means we're going to fuss and fight. Go ahead.
But with the well-advised is wisdom.
Right, but when you got wisdom around, then it changes the whole scenario. So with the well-advised is wisdom. So let's go back over here to 2 Corinthians 2 now. 2 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 2. 2 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 2. We're going to start building off of this chapter as well. and understanding how, again, last week we discussed what makes you married. You know, the rules too, how that went down. Now we get inside more of the intricacies of the home, how we conduct ourselves in the home. All right. And again, it starts with the husbands, but you know, the husband got to figure out how to help get that wife straight. You know, because if you complaining about your woman, then really, you know, it's you. That's a reflection of you. You know, that's a reflection on, you know, oh, you ain't got skills to get your wife to cook you a meal. You know what I'm saying? Well, oh, she don't know how to cook. Okay. Well, y'all in trouble if both of y'all don't know how to cook. Somebody need to go find something. Okay, well, sister such know how to cook. Well, look, maybe you need to go grab her recipe and see if she'll teach you. But ain't no sense when you keep coming to me complaining about the fact that your wife can't cook. I'm eating good in my house. And no, you can't. My wife ain't cooking for my family and yours. It ain't gonna work like that. And she might help your wife learn how to make that macaroni and cheese. 2 Corinthians chapter 11, picking up in verse 2 and 3. When you get there, go ahead.
For I am jealous over you with godly jealousy. For I have espoused you to one husband, that I may present you as a chaste virgin to Christ.
Go ahead.
But I fear lest by any means, as the serpent beguiled Eve through his subtlety, so your mind should be corrupted from the simplicity that is in Christ.
Okay, so a couple of things we get there. One, that the Lord is looking at us. He says, look, I have espoused you as a chaste virgin to Christ. So as a group of people, we all are marrying the Lord. All right. And we also going to see something else that we'll come back to that. Let's go to Ezekiel chapter 16. Ezekiel. I want you to understand how you can be married to the Lord. And this is it should help you understand marriage a little bit. We kind of touched it last week. We're going to touch it again. Ezekiel 16. We're going to start at verse 3. Ezekiel chapter 16, that's in the Old Testament, verse 3. I'm laughing. This is going to be one of the long ones today. It's all right. Trust me, it moves a little quicker. I'm always slow at the beginning. Ezekiel chapter 16 and verse 3. And when you get there, go ahead. So we from here, he said, I have espoused you a chaste virgin to Christ. Like this was Paul talking. And he said, each one of y'all are virgins or married to Christ. And you got to remember what Paul said before. He said, like, look, he was like, he said that men are supposed to love their wives like Christ loved the church. Okay, so this is what we're working with right now. Ezekiel chapter 16, and let's pick this up at verse 3. When you get there, go ahead.
And say, thus saith the Lord God unto Jerusalem, thy birth and thy nativity is of the land of Canaan.
So Israel, they the wife. We all are a part of Israel. This is what makes us married to God. Because his bride is Israel. So we're a part of that. Okay. So Israel started off in the land of Canaan, meaning physically the land that they were in, Abraham was in, Isaac and them was Canaan. So he said, thy birth and thy nativity is in the land of Canaan. Thy father was an Amorite, thy mother a Hittite. Go ahead.
And as for thy nativity, in the day that thou wast born, thy navel was not cut, neither was thou washed in water to supple thee. Thou wast not salted at all, nor swallowed at all.
Right. He said when you was born, it wasn't easy for you. That's what he said as a church, as a nation that's married to Christ. Now let's skip down to verse 6. Go ahead.
And when I passed by thee and saw thee polluted in thy own blood, I said unto thee, when thou wast in thy blood, live ye. I said unto thee, when thou wast in thy blood, live. Right.
So he said to this nation, when I saw you and you was polluted in your own blood, I was like, live. So watch what he said. Go ahead.
I have caused thee to multiply as the bud of the field, and thou hast increased and waxed great, and thou art come to excellent ornaments. Thy breasts are fashioned, and thy hair is grown, whereas thou wast naked and bare. Now when I passed by thee and looked upon thee, behold, thy time was the time of love.
Go ahead.
and I spread my skirt over thee, and covered thy nakedness. Yea, I swear unto thee, and entered into a covenant with thee, saith the Lord God, and thou becomest mine.
So this is the Lord marrying the church. And he said he basically married her and came into a covenant, and that's when he gave the law. And he said, nah, you mine. So when the children of Israel came out of Egypt and he gave them the commandments, that was the marriage. All right? So now what happens after that? Go ahead.
Then wash thy thee with water. Yea, I thoroughly washed away thy blood from thee, and I anointed thee with oil. I clothed thee also with broidered work, and shod thee with badger skin.
Go ahead.
And I girded thee about with fine linen, and I covered thee with silk.
So now you see, he said, like, look, I'm taking care of you, and I'm putting beautiful clothes on you now. He making this nation look beautiful. Same thing that a man is supposed to be doing for his wife. Go ahead.
I decked thee also with ornaments, and I put bracelets upon thy hands, and chain on thy neck. And I put a jewel on thy forehead, and earrings in thy ears, and a beautiful crown upon thy head. Thus was thou decked with the gold and silver, and thy raiment was of fine linen, and silk and broidered work. Thou didst eat fine flour and honey and oil, and thou was exceeded its beauty. Thou was exceeding beautiful, and thou didst prosper into a kingdom.
Right. So this is the relationship that God is having with his wife. And he's like, man, I made you look so beautiful, and everybody knew about it. Everybody knew about your beauty. And you became the king. Okay. So, and when we were in Corinthians, he said, I espoused you as a changed version to Christ. So when the Lord, basically what the Lord is saying is, or Paul is saying, I done gave you over to God, and you married to God. And your marriage was at the time of your baptism. That's when you entered into a covenant with the Lord. But let's go here to let's go back to 1 Corinthians. We'll skip that Psalms 128. Let's go back to 1 Corinthians. 1 Corinthians chapter 11. We'll pick it back up at verse. We'll pick it up at verse 1. 1 Corinthians chapter 11 and 1. Yeah, this is where we're going to be bouncing around. We're going to come back here. Okay. Try to type this out. Right? 1 Corinthians, I don't see 4 and 7 on y'all. Should be. All right, I'll make sure I put it in there. All right, so 1 Corinthians chapter 11, let's pick it up at verse 1. And when you get there, go ahead.
Be ye followers of me, even as I also am of Christ.
So this Paul talking. He's saying, follow me as I follow Christ. Keep going.
Now I praise you, brethren, that ye remember me in all things, and keep the ordinances as I delivered them to you. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and head of the woman is the man, and the head of Christ is God.
All right, let's skip down to verse 8.
The man is not of the woman, but the woman of the man. Neither was the man created for the woman, but the woman for the man.
Go ahead.
For this cause ought the woman to have power on her head, because of the angels.
So we're going to learn about that shortly. So it's saying, like, look, for the man is not of the woman, but the woman is of the man. So it's just giving you order again. Neither was the man created for the woman, but the woman was created for the man. All right? Then it said, for this cause ought the woman to have power over her head because of the angels. Keep reading.
Nevertheless, neither is the man without the woman, neither the woman without the man in the Lord. For as the woman is of the man, even so is the man also by the woman, but all things of God.
So in verse 11, it says, but nevertheless, neither is the man without the woman. Like, we can't even be here. Basically, we need both to keep this going. Kind of contrary to how society is trying to put a woman and a woman together, or a man and a man together. So he's saying, look, nevertheless, neither is the man without the woman, neither the woman without the man in the Lord. So, but still, when it comes to the Lord, this woman gonna need the man. That's what he was saying in verse 11. Then he says, for as the woman is of the man, even so is the man also by the woman, but all things of God. So let's go over here now, because it said here that the head of the woman is man, and that when she prays, she's supposed to cover her head. So let's go over here to Numbers chapter 5. We're going to skip that 30. We read that last time, and that was dealing with the vows and the order and who has the order. You can definitely read that on your paper and read it. But we're going to skip over to Numbers chapter 5. Numbers, that's in the Old Testament, fourth book of the Bible. Numbers chapter 5. Yeah, I know. We're not going to do 30. We did 30 last week. And again, 30 is just showing you that, if a woman make a vow, that vow holds when she makes it. But if her husband hears it, then it's like, okay, he could veto that vow. That's just showing that there is some order within this household. Okay. But right now, it's showing you, but we still looking at order. We're just not going there right now. And what we looked at was in Corinthians, how it showed that, the man, he's the head of the house. But then it's showing you, it said that's why a woman, when she prays, she covers her head. And it says she covers her head because of the angels. So now we in Numbers chapter 5, we're going to look at what happens as a result of the angels. So we did skip Numbers 30. 5 and 11, when you get there, go ahead.
And the Lord spake to Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, If any man's wife go aside and commit a trespass against him, a man lie with her carnally, and it be hid from the eyes of her husband, and be kept close, and she is defiled, and there be no witness against her, neither she be taken with the man. And the spirit of jealousy come upon him, and he be jealous of his wife, and she be defiled. Or if the spirit of jealousy come upon him, and be jealous of his wife, and she be not defiled.
So basically, if a man, he got a wife, he start feeling jealous like she cheating or something. Whether she did it or not, he said, there's something, a procedure that he can do in the Bible. Go ahead.
Then shall the man bring his wife unto the priest.
So this man will start bringing his wife to the priest. Go ahead.
And he shall bring her offering for her, and the 10th part of the ephah of the barley meal. He shall pour no oil upon it, nor put frankincense thereon. For it is an offering of jealousy, an offering of memorial, bringing iniquity to remembrance. The priest shall bring her near, and set her before the Lord.
All right, go ahead.
And the priest shall take holy water in an earthen vessel, and of the dust, and this is the floor of the tabernacle. And the priest shall take and put it into the water.
Okay, again, we looking at, we came here as a result of one in the Old Testament said that a woman was supposed to cover her head when she prayed. So we're looking at this story, and as we look at this story, it was like, well, if a man got a wife and he jealous about thinking that she might cheat with something, he gonna take her to the priest. Now the priest is saying, well, I'm gonna take her to the Lord. So watch what happens now. Go ahead.
And the priest shall send the woman before the Lord, and uncover the woman's head.
So now notice, her head, when she came to the priest, was covered. Just like everybody, all these women in here, their heads are covered. So he said, well, when he brings this woman to the priest, she now uncovers her head now. Okay? So now let's see what happens. Go ahead.
And put the offering of memorial in her hands, which is the jealousy offering. And the priest shall have in his hand the bitter water that causeth the curse.
Go ahead.
And the priest shall charge her by an oath, and say unto the woman, If no man have lain with thee, then thou hast not gone aside to uncleanness with another instead of thy husband, be thou free from this bitter water that causeth the curse.
Okay. So he said, if you ain't did nothing, you ain't got to worry about nothing. Keep reading.
But if thou hast gone aside to another instead of thy husband, then thou be defiled, and some man have lain with thee beside thine husband, then the priest shall charge the woman with an oath of cursing. And the priest shall say unto the woman, The Lord make thee a curse and an oath among thy people.
Go ahead.
When the Lord doth make thy to rot, that thy belly to swell.
So he's saying, like, okay, so this is what's going to happen. She's going to go, we're going to take this woman to the priest. The priest is going to take this woman to the Lord. And then he's saying, well, if she did nothing, no harm, no foul. But if she did something, then her thigh was going to rot and her belly was going to swell. Now, remember, we read in here said that what the priest was going to do was he was going to uncover her head. Because when her head was covered, she was under the covering and protection of her husband. Now, what caused her belly and her thigh to rot? That sounds nasty, like this thing. And her belly to swell is like, it's angels doing that. Now, remember, we were back, and we're going back there. We can go back there now to 1 Corinthians chapter 11. And we're gonna go back there. 1 Corinthians chapter 11, and we're gonna go and we're gonna pick it back up at well, we're gonna go to 4, but we're gonna go back to what we read. So let's go like at 8. We go back to 8. 1 Corinthians chapter 11. We'll go to verse 8. 1 Corinthians 11 and verse 8. Okay. So it said, yeah, start reading at verse 8.
For the man is not of the woman, but the woman of the man. Neither was the man created for the woman, but the woman for the man. For this cause ought the woman to have power on her head because of the angel.
Talking about she's supposed to have her head covered, right? So let's go back up to now. Let's go up to verse 4, and we'll see what we get at. Go ahead.
Every man praying or prophesying, having his head covered, dishonoreth his head. And every woman that prayeth or prophesieth with her head uncovered, dishonoreth her head. For that is even all one as if she were shaved. Okay, so he's saying here, like, look, when a man comes before the Lord, he's supposed to have his head covered. When a woman comes, she's not supposed to, when a man comes, he's supposed to have his head uncovered. When a woman comes, she's supposed to have her head covered. Then it's saying, for every man praying or prophesying to have his head covered, dishonors his head. But every woman that prays or prophesies with her head uncovered, dishonor her head, for that is all one as if she was shaved. Basically, what it's saying, when you look at that, it's like she looking like a man. If she's shaved, that's really what she's looking like. Okay, like all her head is shaved off. Okay, but go ahead, keep reading. For if the woman be not covered, let her also be shorn.
But it's saying, but if the woman don't want to cover her head, but then let her cut all her hair off. All right, go ahead.
But if it be a shame for a woman to be shorn or shaven, let her be covered.
Because it's not common that women just be walking around here now. You know, in our society, it's actually kind of fashionable now. Some women have lower haircuts, but especially then, you didn't cut all your hair off because your hair was given for your glory. Okay, and even typically now, most women don't cut all their hair down to like title. Yeah, they ain't doing that. Right, but go ahead. Not most women. Go ahead. Maybe Grace Jones, but not most women. But go ahead.
7. For a man indeed ought not to cover his head, for as much as he is the image and glory of God, but the woman is the glory of the man.
So notice it's saying like the man, he's in the image of God. So when he coming to the Lord, he's supposed to be coming to the Lord like he is, like how God would want, like how God. Basically, that's the image you made in. But the woman, you weren't made in that image. So basically, he's saying you ain't no man. So come with your head covered. Okay. Then go ahead, keep reading. What verse are we at? Go ahead, keep reading.
For the man is not of the woman, but the woman of the man.
Neither
was the man created for the woman, but the woman for the man.
Go ahead.
For this cause ought the woman to have power on her head because of the angel.
Right, so he's saying for all this, it's because of the angel. So the woman will have power over her head because of the angel. And we saw in one case where we was in Numbers, that's why we was there. We saw that when this man thought that his wife was cheating on him, he took her to the Lord. Then the priest uncovered her head, taking her from up under the protection of her husband. And now the angels were able to make her belly swell, her thigh out. Now they was able to operate and do what they want to do. And there's other places in the Bible where you see that Satan be trying to interfere with your prayers when you pray. And he's an evil angel. And Gabriel had to come, and Michael was coming. It's all kind of other scenarios in the Bible showing you in the spiritual world why a woman needs her head covered. But ultimately, the Lord is saying, but it's just about order. He's like, I made the man in a particular image. I didn't make that woman that. Don't no woman need to be coming at me like no man. Like that's basically what he's saying. Basically, that's disrespectful. All right. Now we're gonna go to Acts chapter 5. Because, all Jay been telling these women today is that the husband is the head of the household. And the husband is this. Look, don't you follow your man in hell. All right? Like I want you, we're going to get that clear now. Like, yeah, the man is the head, but if he ain't right, don't you be wrong as well. Okay? And for you sisters that's in here and your husbands aren't, you keep showing and leading and guiding them on the way to salvation. But when you get home, don't think you in charge at home still. You just keep leading and showing them the way to salvation. Because you might be saving your husband, true indeed. Just like I was saying that I was happy that Sister Mildred and her husband was able to go to, because I met him and I like him. He's a nice guy. But at the same time, y'all see he's not here. Right. So when Sister Mildred go home, he's still the head of the house. But at the same time, she ain't gonna follow him if he walking down the path that's going to nowhere. You see? So at some point, sisters, you gotta draw a line with how this works. We're gonna look at an example of that here in Acts chapter 5. And we're gonna pick it up at verse 1. And somebody asked me one time, what if my husband don't want me to go to church? Am I just supposed to do that? Like at some point, you gotta draw a line and be like, no, I'm going to church. And you're gonna have to deal with the consequences on that. You know, at some point, you know, now it gets tricky because I mean, if you can get it gets tricky. We'll read this verse and then we'll talk about it some more. Because I don't want you to go there. Maybe every time I go to church, I go home, I get beat up. See, that's tricky, but you know, that's another case scenario. You know, for the most part, you fight it out, and I don't mean physically. I'm saying you go through the hell of what life may bring. That's what we get at, to serve God. Because ultimately, that's who is the one that's in charge. We're gonna see all this. Acts chapter 5, let's pick up at verse 1. When you get there, go ahead.
But a certain man named Ananias,
Ananias,
with Sapphira, his wife, sold a possession, and kept back part of the price. His wife also being privy to it, and bought a certain part and laid it at the apostles' feet.
So Ananias went and sold something, but Sapphira knew what was going on as well. Go ahead.
Peter said, Ananias, why hath Satan filled thine heart to lie to the Holy Ghost and to keep back part of the price of the land?
Right, so he sold it for $100, but came back at like 70. Because what they were doing at this time was everybody was like, they was all going to sell what they have and distribute it to the saints. Okay, go ahead.
While it remains, was it not thine own?
He said, look, when it was yours, you didn't have to, it was yours. So you didn't have to sell it. You didn't have to say what you were going to do with it or nothing. Go ahead.
And after it was sold, was it not thine own power? Why hast thou conceived this thing in thine heart? Thou hast not lied unto men, unto God. Okay, so they all agreed to sell their land, give it to the people, but it's still, like, you know, since Stephanie might be like, all right, well, I got some land, and I'm going to sell it for $1,000, but really it was my granddaddy's land, so I mean, I would like to keep 20 of it. Like, all right, cool. But no, instead, you know, her husband say, well, we're going to tell you folks all we got was 80, even though we got 100. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, so that's what's going on here, okay? You didn't have to, first of all, you didn't have to sell your land to do nothing, all right? So, but the moral of the story that we're getting at is don't follow your husband to no flaw. So, Ananias, you know, he, like the Lord said, well, you don't lie to the Holy Ghost here. Keep reading. And Ananias, hearing these words, fell down and gave up the ghost. And great fear came on all of them that heard these things.
Right, so he was like, look, fear came on everybody because Ananias died when this happened. All right? So now let's watch what happens next. Go ahead.
And the young man arose, wound him up, and carried him out and buried him. And it was about the space of 3 hours after when his wife, not knowing what was done, came in. And Peter answered unto her, tell me whether ye sold the land for so much. So she said, wife came in, she don't know what happened. You know what I'm saying? So Peter come to her and said, hey, how much you sell the land for? How much did y'all sell the land for? Go ahead. And she said, yeah, for so much. So he was like, yeah, so did y'all sell it for 80? And she like, yeah, we sold it for 80. Like, she lying with her husband. Go ahead. And Peter said unto her, how is it that ye have agreed together to tempt the Spirit of the Lord? Behold, the feet of them which have buried thy husband are at the door, and shall carry thee out. Then fell she down straightway at his feet, and yielded up the ghost. And the young men came in and found her dead, and carrying her forth, buried her by her husband. Okay. So right here, they read that next verse too. And great fear came upon all the church, and upon as many as heard these things. All right, so basically we looking at a story here where a woman followed her husband, and it cost her. Like, don't follow your man to hell. If you want to go out here, play the fool, act the fool,
You just let him go right over ahead and do what he gonna do. All right. So, but on the flip, let's go look at this story here. We're gonna go to Samuel. I know we got people. We should be able to come back to. Let's go to 1 Samuel chapter 25. 1 Samuel chapter 25. We're gonna look at a common story about Nabal and Abigail. Nabal and Abigail. 1 Samuel chapter 25, and we're gonna pick this up in verse 2. So, you know, even though the husband is the head of the house, we got that. You know what I'm saying? We know man was made in God's image, but at the same time, as we follow on our husbands, we got to make sure that we, you know, as women, are still walking in the ways of the Lord and that we ain't doing stuff stupid because it can cost your life. So, let's look at this story. 1 Samuel chapter 25, verse 2. When you get there, go ahead.
There was a man named Man whose possessions were in Carmel, and the man was very great, and he had 3,000 sheep and 1,000 goats, and he was shearing his sheep in Carmel. Now the name of the man was Nabal, and the name of the wife Abigail, and she was a woman of good understanding and of beautiful countenance. But the man was churlish and evil in his doings, and he was of the house of Caleb.
All right, so sometimes we got this. The man evil in his doings. You know, sometimes we be in class too. And this is a very good example. Like, look, he's still the head of this house. We're going to see this in the story. But she was trying to save him. Let's just read. Go ahead.
And David heard in the wilderness that Nabal did shear his sheep.
So David hear about it. David is, by the way, he's the one that they said killed his 10,000 while Saul killed his 1,000. So David is a killer. FYI. Go ahead.
And David sent out 10 young men. And David said unto the young men, get you up to Carmel and go to Nabal and greet him in my name.
So he sent some people out. He said, look, go down to Carmel and tell, you know, go greet this Nabal in the name of David. So he'll know we are. But everybody knows David is a killer. Go ahead.
Thus shall you say to him that liveth in prosperity, peace be both to thee, and peace be to thine house, and peace be unto all all that thou hast.
Right. So David telling his man, when you get to Nabal, greet him in peace. You, your house, everything you got. Peace, my brother. Go ahead.
And now I've heard that thou hast shearers. Now thy shepherds, which were with us, we hurt them not. Neither was there aught missing unto them all the while that they were in Carmel.
Go ahead.
Ask thy young men, and they will show thee. Wherefore let the young men find favor in thine eyes, for we come in a good day. Give, I pray thee, whatsoever cometh to thine hand, unto these servants, and to thy son David. And when David's young men came, they spake to Nabal, according to all those words in the name of David, and ceased. And Nabal answered David's servants, and said, who is David? And who is the son of Jesse? And there be many servants nowadays that break away every man from his master.
Okay, so David was like, all right, telling his guy, he's like, look, go down here and holler at Nabal. And tell Nabal, like, look, you got a whole bunch of sheep down here. We've been running through these lands, and we ain't touching none of your sheep, and we ain't messing with your shepherd. Everything good around here. But basically saying, but we hungry, you know, look out for us, because we could have just took it. So Nabal said, well, who is this David? And he was like, his son of Jesse. He said, and the reason he said there be many servants nowadays that break away from their master, because Saul was the king. So the rumor getting out like, you know, like David and left Saul. So he's like, it's all kinds of people revolting right now. All right. So go ahead, keep reading.
Shall I then take my bread and my water and my flesh that I have killed for my shearers, and give it unto men whom I know not whence they be?
All right.
So David's young men turned away and went again, and came and told him all those things.
So David, boys, like, all right. They went back to David, like, David, dude, trucker. I don't want to do nothing. What you gonna do? Go ahead.
And David said unto his men, gird ye on every man his sword. And they girded on every man his sword. And David also girded on his sword. And there went up after David about 400 men, and 200 abode by this stuff. But one of the young men told Abigail, his wife, saying, Behold, David sent messengers out of the wilderness to salute our master, and he railed on them.
Yeah.
But the men were very good unto us, and we were not hurt, neither missed we anything, as long as we were conversant with them when we were in the field.
They was like, man, these people was looking out. So they went up to Abigail, they told her like, and Nabal was tripping. And he probably knew too, like, I need to tell her because Nabal like, listen. So, he goes to tell the wife, he said, well, Nabal was tripping, but David was good to us. And now David on his way to just smash everything because he being a fool. Go ahead.
16. Mm-hmm. They were a wall unto us both by night and day.
He's like, man, they was protecting us and everything. Like, they had us straight. Go ahead.
All the while we were with them keeping the sheep.
Uh-huh.
Now therefore know and consider what thou wilt do. For evil is determined against our master and against all his household. For he is such a son of Belial that men cannot speak to him.
Right. He was like, man, this dude is such a son of Belial. Like, he was like, man, this dude is such an idiot that can't nobody say nothing to him. Like, we trying to explain to him, like, we could have died and we didn't out here. They've been taking care of us. And now, since you dissing him like this, now he on his way to kill us all. So I just thought I would tell you, because you going to die too, Abigail. This is basically what the servant is saying. Go ahead.
And Abigail made haste and took 200 loaves and 2 bottles of wine and 5 sheep ready dressed and 5 measures of parched corn and 100 clusters of raisins and 200 cakes of figs and laid them on asses.
So that's crazy, though. He always get his breath straight out. You notice he said it was 2 bottles of wine with like, yeah, have something to drink. We sorry. But Abigail, man, she took 200 loaves and 2 bottles of wine, 5 sheep, got everything ready, 5 measures of corn, 100 clusters of raisins, 200, man, that's good. But go ahead, verse 19, keep reading.
And she said unto her servants, Go on before me. Behold, I come after you. But she told not her husband.
Right, so she planned. She like, listen, you need to go back. Because you already know him, y'all got a relationship. You go back before me. Because if he see me, she like, and I need you to bring this stuff with you. Because he see me, I'm a part of Nabal. So I might end up getting hit. So you need to go first. All right, go ahead.
And it was so, as she rode on the ass, that she came down by the covert of the hill. And behold, David and his men came down against her, and she met them.
Uh-huh.
Now David had said, Surely in vain have I kept all that this fellow had in the wilderness, so that nothing was missed of all that pertained unto him. And he hath requited me the evil for good.
Go ahead.
So and more also do God unto the enemies of David, if I leave of all that pertain to him by the morning light, any that hisseth against the wall.
So he was like, man, I'm finna just kill everybody. This is what's on David's mind. Any man I see that's in his family, dead. Go ahead, verse 23.
And when Abigail saw David, she hastened and lightened off the ass and fell before David on her face and bowed herself to the ground. And fell at his feet and said, Upon me, my lord, upon me, let this iniquity be. And let thine handmaid, I pray thee, speak in thine audience, and hear the words of thine handmaid.
Go ahead.
Let not, my lord, I pray thee, regard this man of Belial.
So now she's going to advocate for her husband. Like, look, please don't pay this dude no attention. I don't know what be on. Don't let, like, she even called him a son of a devil. That's what Belial. Go ahead.
Even Nabal, for his name is, so he is.
So she was like, let not my Lord, I pray, with regard this man of Belial, even Nabal, for as his name is, so is he. So I don't know if his mama just knew he was going to be an idiot, or if that's how the name came across, but Nabal means fool. So she like, this dude is a fool. I got to wake up every morning to this fool. Like, just please have mercy upon him. That's what Abigail said. All right, go ahead.
Nabal is his name, and following is with him. But I find handmaid saw not the young man of my Lord, whom thou didst send. Now therefore, my Lord, as the Lord liveth, and as thy soul liveth, seeth the Lord hath withholden thee from coming to shed blood, and from avenging thyself with thine own hand. Now let thine enemies and they that seek evil to my Lord be as Nabal.
Keep reading.
And now this blessing which thy handmaid hath brought unto my Lord, let it even be given unto the young men that follow my Lord.
Okay, so in so many words, basically, she went to David on behalf of Nabal and saved the day. Meanwhile, a couple days later, you can tell you the story, and we ain't gonna read all the story. But meanwhile, Nabal ended up dying. Matter of fact, let's get down to verse 36. Go ahead.
And Abigail came to Nabal, and behold, he held a feast in his house, like the feast of a king.
Right.
And Nabal's heart was merry within him, for he was very drunken. Wherefore she told him nothing, less of more until the morning light.
Right. So basically, after she sang the day, he goes and, like for some reason he probably had his party or whatever. He get drunk. Go ahead.
It came to pass in the morning, when the wine was gone out of Nabal, and his wife had told him these things, that his heart died within him, and he became as a stone.
Mm-hmm.
And it came to pass about 10 days after that the Lord smote Nabal, that he died.
Right. So here's what we're getting at. Look, sisters, your husband's an idiot. You keep on, as Brother Elijah said last night, you keep on grinding. You keep on serving God. You keep on advocating. You keep on doing what it is that you're doing, and let the Lord deal with it. So what ended up happening with Nabal is Nabal just ended up dying. Like he ended up, Abigail told Nabal what happened. Like, yeah, I went to him, I brought the service, and of course, his ego was strong, his pride was hurt, he had nothing to say, nothing. He was like in complete silence. And then basically, it's like he said, but it's like they said, his heart stopped. Like he probably like old Fred himself had a heart attack. You know what I'm saying? And the next thing you know, 10 days later, said he took him away. So the Lord delivered Abigail out of that situation. And that's what you got to understand is when you got an idiot of a man, the Lord can handle that. You just keep doing what it is that you're supposed to be doing. Now we'll go over to this Peter. It's Peter, 1 Peter chapter 3. 1 Peter chapter 3. And we're going to see what it says here. 1 Peter chapter 3. Sometimes we got them like that, Maybe they turn that way. Maybe they tricked us in the beginning and we thought they was Prince Charming and they end up being something else. But regardless, it don't matter. Just take it to the Lord. Don't you be no fool because he won. All right. But at the same time, don't follow no man to hell. We saw that with Ananias and Sapphira. All right. Those are your two situations. But regardless, though, we still learn even with Abigail. She was still in subjection to her husband. He was still the ruler and made the first call. She just went behind his back because it was like, hey, we gonna die if I don't. It was life or death. All right. 1 Peter chapter 3, pick it up in verse 1. When you get there, go ahead.
Likewise, ye wives, be in subjection to your own husband, that if any obey not the word, he also may without the word be won by the conversation of the wives.
Right. So look, you got a husband, he ain't in the word, you still are in subjection to your husband. Meaning he's still the head of his house. He's still, authorizing decisions here. And it may even affect your life something like, you might be like, okay, well, next year for Tabernacle, we're gonna go all 7 days. You get home and you like, yeah, baby, well, next year I want to take off this week so that I can, feast with my church. No, you ain't. You already get one enough to come home too late as it is. Now, the 4th of July, you're gonna go with me with my family reunion. Though. You keep your Sabbath, you keep your Sabbath, but you're gonna do what you. Well, then you leave that be. You're like, okay. You know what I'm saying? Like sometimes you still putting yourself in subjection. It's gonna cost you a little bit. Sorry that house is what it is. Okay? But at the same time, so it might limit you to doing what you want to do. But notice what it said, your obedience to your husband, he said, likewise, you wives, be in subjection to your own husband, not just your husbands in the word, to your own husband, that if any obey not the word, they also may, without the word, be won by the conversation of the wife. See, so now I get back on my shout out, and I get to telling my buddies about my wife and the stuff that she be doing, and they like, man, yo, you got a good wife, man. She do everything you say. Like, she don't be dribbling enough. My wife would have been, come on, pop the fans in the house. I told her she couldn't do something. So now he looking at me, he like, hey, he got a point. My wife is a pretty good wife. And he's saying, like, look, this type of stuff can win over the husband. Keep reading, verse 2.
While they behold your chaste conversation coupled with fear.
Right, meaning they seeing that you got that you fear and respect what this situation is. That you are my husband. Especially a lot of these sisters, they get the word, they've been married 10, 15 years. Like, that's a big change to your husband. All of a sudden, you're trying to convince him I ain't gonna make no pork no more. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not bringing shrimp in the house no more. No more Christmas. Like, you're trying to convince him of this stuff. Y'all been doing this. He might don't get it. And it might even be to the point where you still mess around and have to cook his old nasty dinner. Now, I would be wise and try to figure out how to turn him on to turkey bacon. But at the same time, it might not go that well the first day. And you might be sitting in front of that steel and pissed off because you cooking this dang on pork chop in your house. Because you are still in subjection to your husband. And you done got in the word, how you just gonna flip the script on him and all of a sudden go in the freezer and throw away all the food that he done bought, talking about we ain't eating no pork no more. Just don't work like that. All right? But notice what he says, while they behold your chaste conversation coupled with fear. Now it's going to say something else about the wives. Go ahead.
Whose adorning let it not be, that outward adorning of plaiting the hair.
Of plaiting the hair. The meaning that the woman, her beauty is not supposed to be just what I see. All right, now we know that we look at Ezekiel, we know that a woman can look good, but her beauty is supposed to be something else. What is it supposed to be? Go ahead.
And of wearing of gold or of putting on apparel. But let it be the hidden man of the heart.
So let her beauty be of the hidden, what people don't see, the heart, the mind. Go ahead.
And that which is not corrupt, even the ornament of a meek and quiet spirit.
So sisters, this is what you're trying to obtain. This is your goal. You're trying to have a meek and quiet spirit. Not only when you outside of the world, but when you get home. It don't be that easy, especially with some of these knuckleheads that we married to. Like, you want to just yell to the top of your lungs, but it just said quiet spirit. This is what was taught. It don't mean that you can't conversate and that you can't have an opinion. But at the same time, notice what the Bible is telling you. That if your beauty is supposed to be of a meek and quiet, meek don't mean weak either. Abigail wasn't weak. She saved the day. She waited on her husband move. It wasn't the right move. She thought about it, figured out a way to save the day. Then she didn't even come back boastful. She waited till you was done with your party. Then the next morning you go come like, baby, the reason we didn't die was because I had to spit some sheep and some corn. And I went ahead and gave him something. He was going to kill us. He couldn't even say nothing. Go ahead, keep reading though. Verse 5. Read 4 again.
Let it be the hidden man of the heart, and that which is not corrupt, even the ornament of the meek and quiet spirit, which in the sight of God is a great price. Right.
So he's saying that meek and quiet spirit to God, that's a great price. He sees. See, that's what you gotta understand. God sees this. God ain't stupid. He knows everybody's situation. Trust me, angels are snitching. They going back to the Lord like, yeah, Lord, I just said this to his wife. Oh, okay. I said, so what did Raquel say? She didn't say nothing. She could have. She didn't be wrong. She could have. So the angels are writing these things down and they reporting it back. Again, brothers and sisters, two wrongs don't make no right. But keep reading.
For after this manner in the old time, the holy women also were trusted in God.
Notice here, holy women who trusted not in their husbands, they trusted in God. Like they say, when they were talking about the Philadelphia 76ers, y'all got to trust the process. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what it is, though. You know what I'm saying? It ain't the man you trusted. Is you trusted in God. Go ahead, keep reading.
adorn ourselves being in subjection unto their own husbands.
Right, they adorn themselves by being in subjection to their own husband. It wasn't the man again, because Nabal was needy, but it was, hey, I'm a woman of God, so I'm gonna dress a certain type of way. I'm gonna look a certain type of way. You ain't gonna have to be able to say that she ain't no woman of God. Go ahead, keep reading.
Even as Sarah obeyed Abraham, calling him Lord.
So notice here it says, just like Sarah was in subjection to her husband, letting you know how deep the subjection is, that she called her husband Lord, as if to say he is the master of this house. He's the master. He's the boss. He's in charge. Go ahead, keep reading.
Whose daughters ye are as long as ye do well.
So he said that Sarah called her husband Lord, whose daughters we supposed to be if you're doing well. Go ahead.
And are not afraid with any amazement.
Right, because your faith and your trust is in God. Go ahead.
Likewise, ye husbands.
But on the flip side, brothers, likewise, ye husbands, go ahead.
Dwell with them according to the knowledge.
Right, dwell with them according to knowledge. Meaning, look, you got to think about the decisions that you are making in your home. Maybe you got to go and be well advised. Go get some wisdom out of the situation. Make sure that move you're making is a good move. You see? Otherwise, you're going to have a woman that's pissed off right now. And we said, you don't want that. Because as they say, happy wife is happy life. You really don't want that. So then maybe the advice you getting from your homeboys while y'all at the bar, and each one of them keep looking at this other woman booty. You see what I'm saying? And you sitting there with them, maybe their advice ain't the best advice. You see what I'm saying? Maybe you need to find your lame homeboy who at home with his wife talk, and they sitting there watching Netflix at night or something. You see what you did what I'm saying? Like, so you need to watch your counsel. So it says, likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge. What else?
Giving honor unto the wife.
Giving honor unto the wife. Like, she worked hard up in here. Yeah, I know you've been out there in the world working hard, but she taking care of these kids. Kids make good grades. They look good when they leave. They're well behaved. You ain't do none of that. That's all her. All you said was, kids better know how to act with me. Right. She the one like, you know your daddy gonna tear your butt up. She the one that forces all this. So then you gotta give her that honor that she just do. Okay? Go ahead, keep reading.
As unto the weaker vessel.
Right. That's why, and you gotta remember that, brothers. Like, that's why women like to hear, like, you look nice today. How was your day? You know, stuff like they like to, like, don't just take for granted. Because let me tell you something. And I thought about this in my own world when one day my wife would leave for work. I'm like, man, you look really good today, huh? Like, but what I really thought was, yeah, them other dudes gonna see it and say it. Now, is that what you really want? For your wife to put on an outfit and the whole day go by and you ain't say nothing, but 6, 7 other wolves, men, right, that said, yeah, you look real nice, and they ain't gonna say it like you even gonna say it. They gonna be trying to make it sound real sugar and spicy. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying, brothers, your wife is the weaker vessel. So although it might not bother you if you don't hear nothing about how clean the car is, it might bother her if you don't say, oh, so you went and got your toes done today. They look nice. Because you're gonna say something when they don't look good. You know what I'm saying? So just remember, likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge, giving honor unto the wife as unto the weaker vessel. Then notice the next part that he gonna say. Go ahead.
And as being heirs together of the grace of life.
Right. That's the objective. We are trying to be heirs together. Meaning that me and my wife are trying to get, that's what they told me when I got married. I still got videotape. He said, one of the brother named Elijah, not the same one y'all know, another Elijah. He said, look, there's no reason y'all shouldn't get to the kingdom together now. Like, that's what we work, that's what it is. Once you get married, you in the word, you and your wife, or you and your husband, y'all in the word, y'all supposed to be heirs together. And then if you working on your husband, you still working on your husband, like, you get in here with me. I don't care if you got to come, you come kicking and shoving like that right since the building. Like, come on, what you got on with me, baby? I got something funny. You know what I'm saying? You keep me in here with me. You understand? Like, that's how you supposed to be. Like, you know, we were talking, it was like, yeah, well, she got in the word because, you know, her husband was going to church. Like, it don't matter why somebody get there as long as they get there. So you know your wife want to know how come you ain't came home at 3 at night because you come with y'all feasting. But I really want to come see next time. You know what I'm saying? And if the reason that she is in the word now is because she was pissed because you kept coming home at 3 at night from the feast. But she in the word, that's not objective, right? Okay. So again, likewise, you husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge, giving honor unto the wife as unto the weaker vessel, being heirs together of the grace and life. Why? Go ahead.
That your prayers be not hindered.
Right. So you need to be paying that attention, brothers. You praying to the Lord, but you ain't dwelling with your wife properly. He ain't even hearing you. He like, fix that. Fix your house, then I'll listen to what you got to say. That's how he looking at it. Keep reading, verse 9. 8, go ahead.
Finally, be ye all of one mind, having compassion one of another. Love as brethren, be pitiful, be courteous.
So he's telling you, be courteous, be pitiful, have love as brother. All right, go ahead, keep reading.
Not rendering evil for evil.
So we ain't supposed to be rendering evil for evil. Okay? So like just because he did you dirty, don't do her dirty. Or just because she, she did you dirty, don't mean, you gonna do him dirty. You know how we saying. You don't render evil for evil. Again, 2 wrongs ain't gonna make it right. Like that's how we do in the world. Like, oh, okay. So he cheated, so I'm going out cheating now. Like that just made both of y'all cheaters now. This ain't work. You could have been better off saying, well, then you gonna leave. When you was out in the world like that. And your boyfriend and girlfriend did something like that. That's wrong. That's what we get at. Just because somebody else did wrong don't mean you can't. Keep going.
Not rendering evil for evil, or railing for railing.
Right. She buck at you don't mean you got to buck back. Brother, you got to learn how to walk away. You got to learn how to walk away from it. Go ahead, keep going.
Contrariwise, blessing, knowing ye are thereunto called, that ye shall inherit a blessing.
Go ahead.
For he that will love life and see good things, let him refrain his tongue from evil, and his lips that they speak no God. Keep going. Let him eschew his evil and do good. Let him seek peace and ensue it. For the eyes of the Lord are over the righteous, and his ears are open unto their prayers. But the face of the Lord is against them that do evil.
All right, that's good. Let's move over to where we going with this now? 1 Timothy chapter 2. Yeah, 1 Timothy chapter 2. Yeah, that's right. We're on number 16 on our paper. 1 Timothy chapter 2. We're going to the left a little bit. 1 Timothy chapter 2. We're going to pick this up at verse 9. 1 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 9. So again, when we say husband, love your wives, this is work all across the board. The husband is the head of the house. So it got to start with him. But we also are learning that, sisters, you got yourself in a situation in some cases where your husband might not be the brightest apple in the bunch. It don't matter. You are helping him. Your job is to improve him, help him. I know a brother and sister, and she quick, he's slow. And I watched them. And she's definitely gonna win any of the arguments, that they have within the house. But I also watch how they function with the world. And she know he's smart, he's slow though. And she quick, so she is putting him in situations to where he can improve their whole situation by utilizing his skills. Because she quicker, she get it faster, that's all. So what I'm getting at is, well, maybe you might be a little smarter than him, so you think in your mind. Okay, find a way that you can make him better. That you can use your skills to improve him. But at the same time, don't want to be stepping on his toes. Don't be going to ask your old boyfriend to give your husband a job. That ain't gonna work. You know what I'm saying? Because that's all you doing really is disrespectful to them. And it's just gonna create animosity. First of all, he gonna want to know why the heck is you dealing with your old boyfriend? You see? Or if you're trying to get something like if your daddy got a job and you want him to work for your daddy, You know, you don't just jump into your pops and say, well, Dad, I got, like you talk to your husband, you got to figure out a way to get your husband to see why this is a benefit to us, how this could benefit him. You know, women, you got to use your brain in this situation. You know, you can't bust his ego. You got to remember at the beginning of the class, we discussed the world already busting our egos. You got to figure out a way to stroke him, but at the same time, you got to help him. Because maybe you have been given more. Maybe you do know the way. But you need to learn how to stay in your place. And same as with the men, you got to look at your women and see, like, look, she an asset to the team. Find what she's skillful at and use it. You know, it don't make sense for you to have a mathematical genius of a wife and you handling all the money. I mean, that's just not a smart move. The rest of the world don't function like that. Ain't no other government, no other kingdom gonna work like that. Why do you think you're gonna work with yours like that? All right. So now we're in 1 Timothy chapter 2. And let's pick it up in verse 9. 1 Timothy chapter 2 and 9. When you get there, go ahead.
In like manner also, that women adorn themselves in modest apparel, with shamefacedness and sobriety, not with braided hair, or gold, or pearls, or costly array.
That don't mean women can't look good. We already saw the Lord made Israel look good. Women can look good. It's saying, but this ain't what it's about. That's all. It is about something else. It is about, go ahead.
But which becometh women professing godliness with good works.
Right. It's about you having good works. People being able to say good stuff about you. Go ahead.
Let the woman learn in silence with all subjection.
Now, at the same time, like he's telling you here, let the women learn in silence, all subjection. So that means that women, you know, go ahead, let's see what it says next.
But I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to assert authority over a man, but to be in silence.
So, and that even go in your home. So if your husband's trying to explain something, teach you something, whatever, then you got to be patient with this situation. Even if he's moving too slow for you. And, you know, sometimes you like, okay, I get it now. I don't need to say it. But he might, like, don't put that in your mind, because maybe he's going to tell you something this time that you missed the first time anyway. You just got to be patient with it. You got to stay silent. You got to stay neat. You don't, and then he's showing you here too, a woman is not to usurp authority over the men. So a woman got to find her way to get her what she want out of the deal. And what I mean by that, I mean just what I'm saying. Like, if he's saying no and you still want it your way, and you might even be thinking in your mind rationally that, hey, this is what's really best for us. He don't see it. I wish I could make him see it. Well, it ain't for you to just go do it. It's still, you're going to stay humble about it, and you got to try to convince him in a meek way why my way the best way. Okay? And you should be, at this point, if love is without dissimulation, it might even be, well, baby, can we sit down and talk again? I know you said no, but I really want you to try to see if you can understand my point. But all we getting at is, remember, we ain't trying to go bumping heads and arguing, because we don't get nowhere with that. All right? So it has to be another way. Pillow talk sometime, there has to be another way. Maybe give him a good meal, maybe working too. While he watching this football game, you give him that sweet tea be a little extra sweet this time. You know, like you ought to know your man. So you ought to know when is the appropriate and the right time to say something to him. Okay? If you got a problem with something, don't wait till he bring up your problem. Because you know what that's going to be. You know what I'm saying? That's just going to be an argument. Y'all ain't going to get nowhere with that. And I'm thinking all like, okay, well, this ain't about that. Now, you trying to bring, you should have brought my mess up yesterday. But right now, we focusing on what I'm talking about. Okay? So anyway, he said, but I suffer not a woman to teach, verse 12, nor to usurp authority over the man, but to be in silence. Go ahead.
For Adam was first formed, then Eve. And Adam was not deceived, but the woman being deceived was in the transgression.
So what he's showing you is that, again, the woman is the weaker vessel. And in many cases, and you know, and we see it when we walk into a lot of these Sunday churches, it is easier to deceive the woman. Now, the women might be like, I ain't getting deceived. Look, I ain't right. I just want you to know, I ain't right. You know what I'm saying? But there's a reason why, when I first got the word, that's what amazed me most. Look at all these brothers. Whereas when I grew up going to church, look, number women, you want to know it, and it's because the emotion of it. That's all. It's the emotion of it. And a woman is looking for more of a passion in life. She's looking for love. You know, she's looking for like for a feeling. Whereas a man, we kind of like, you know, just straightforward. That's why I remember Daddy Poole, that's somebody in my world. We call him Daddy Poole. He ain't never go to church. Ever. His wife went to church every single Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. He ain't never go. You get over there, do the nicest you want to be. You know what I'm saying? He don't give you no problem, no nothing. But he'll tell you, I can't get no phone my money. That's all it was with him. He was like, I'm not gonna give him my money. Whereas, and that's all he saw in his mind. You know what I'm saying? Because he knew what he worked for and he wasn't gonna give it to him. While he looking at his wife like, you can do what you want to do, but don't ask for no money for that church. That was his thing. So, you know, it's just different. Men and women, we are different. What they say, men are from Mars and women are from Venus or something crazy like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, we are different creatures. We are made and built different. Okay? And it's showing you here, like, look, she was easier to fall, more suspect to the good game. You know, we see that on the streets. That's why, I mean, you know, it might be a male prostitute here or there, but you know, predominantly on their women. And they got some pimp in their ear. You see, so I mean, it's just the way it is. We built it. So let's go over here to Proverbs chapter 31 now. Proverbs 31. You know, like I say, today's class, husband, love your wives, is really about just the whole family, how we supposed to function together. But it starts with the man. That is why the title is like that. And man, if you can't get right, don't expect your house to be right. It's not going to be. Now, you coming in making demands and your draw stay. Like, how that look? It ain't going to work. That's what we're getting at. You can't run to come in the house, and then especially when you just get in the word, or you get in the word, and now you got a woman, and you come in here, and you think you're going to change everything you used to do on her. Like, that ain't going to really just work that smooth and that simple. All right? Got to have a little wisdom. Proverbs 31. We're going to start at verse 10. I suggest for you to read it all of this chapter. Now, we're going to read it all. Go ahead, start at verse 1. We're going to read this whole chapter. I'll be all right. Go ahead.
The words of the king, the prophecy that his mother taught him. What, my son?
Right.
And what the son of my womb? And what the son of my vow?
Right.
Give not thy strength unto women.
Now, when they say don't give your strength unto women, look, that don't mean that you can't listen to your wife or, you know what I mean, nothing stupid like that. But what it's telling you, brothers, is you have to watch women. And really, we ain't talking about women in here, really, to be honest with you. But we talking about the world, period. You have to watch women. When you look at, you know, throughout the Bible, you look at Samson, you look at, Samson was real people. You look at Solomon, you even Adam. They gave the authority over to a woman and what happened? Cost. So you have to, he's telling you here, give not your strength to a woman. That's what it's telling you. You have to still maintain your authority and integrity. Just doing some wisdom, that's all. That's all it means. Go ahead, keep reading.
Know thy ways to that which is worth kings. It is not for kings. Hold on me well. It is not for kings to drink wine.
That's something else, brother, especially married brothers. Because you king of that castle, trust me. You king of that home. Hey, it ain't saying don't drink. But look, man, sometimes we get a little carried away with it. You get a little too much alcohol in it, it causes you to do some stupid stuff, brothers. Women too, but brothers, we do some real dumb stuff when we done had too much to drink. Okay, keep reading.
Nor for princes strong drink. Lest they drink and forget the law.
So notice what it's saying, brothers. If you get to drinking, you forget all about the commandments. All of them. So you don't want to put that, you don't give your strength over to a woman. And brothers, look, you got to chill. I ain't saying you can't have a drink. Keep it under control. I know we had the feast here this past week, And we did pretty good, I'm gonna say, to be honest with you, as far as being in this building. You know, we didn't have, I've been places where brothers was off the chain drunk. And, you know, I heard Elijah, who made the announcement, said they're gonna have to start putting some people on the can't drink list. You can do what you want to do at home, but you get up here, you might be on that can't drink list. And I'm gonna say, you know, that right now we good, but I would definitely say that when I got home that night, man, because I had a little too much to drink as far as for normalcy. I had much to drink. So, cause I don't usually drink. I don't drink except during the feast. So when I got home, man, I went home and just straight to sleep, like boom. Man, I was super tired. When I woke up, I felt it. After that, I said to myself, wisdom kicked in. Hey, bro, no more liquor for the rest of this week. You can do a little wine, a little beer here, a little beer there, and you gotta check yourself. You gotta examine yourself and look at yourself. Like I looked at, I was like, I'm good. I was like, I'll go buy me a 6-pack of beer, and that's enough. We ain't got to do no more of that hard stuff. But I couldn't take it. You know, and I'm saying, brothers, you gotta know that. You gotta know, like, hey, you know what? Good, man. And it comes with a little wisdom, it comes with a little time. But you know, if you get to drinking and you can, you know, you come back home and you can't handle that, then you need to cut that alcohol off. It's a problem. Like the book said, your right hand to feed you, cut it off. All right. And I can say it because I've been in a situation of life where I had to. That's why I only drink during feast, because it was becoming a problem with my work. So he said, verse 5, lest they drink and forget the law. Go ahead.
And pervert the judgment of any of the afflicted. Give strong drink unto him that is ready to perish, and wine unto those that be of heavy heart.
Yeah, so he said, look, you know, wine to those that be of heavy, like wine do help you. You know, like you take a little sip of wine, you stressing. Yeah. But notice what it says, give strong drink to them that's ready to perish, because it ain't even about the liquor that he's saying. He's just saying, yeah, somebody who's ready to, you want to see somebody fall over the edge, get them drunk. That's really all he's saying with that. Go ahead.
Let him drink and forget his poverty, and remember his misery no more.
And that's what happens. Once you get to drinking, man, it's just all fun and games. Not that the problem go away. It's all fun and games. All right. Let's get down to verse 10 now, because this is really why we're here. Go ahead.
Who could find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies.
Right. So this still the mama talking to the king, schooling. So first the mama say, look, don't get your power over to no woman. Don't be out here getting drunk. You're gonna forget the law. Then he said, well, who could find a virtuous woman? This is what our women are aspiring to be: virtuous women, good, godly women. He said, her price is like finding that is better than finding that great job. Go ahead, keep reading.
The heart of her husband doth safely trust in her.
So when you have a virtuous woman, one of the ways you're gonna be able to tell, one of the fruits of that, her husband gonna feel safe and gonna have trust in her. I know it says safely trust, but that's exactly what we're saying. He's going to feel safe and he's going to trust her. I know the Bible says, well, curse the man that trusted, trusted man. Right, exactly. But I still know my wife. You understand? Like, I know this woman. I know what she gonna do and what she ain't gonna do. Okay? Keep reading.
So that he shall have no need of support.
Right, and he says, so that way, he trusted her, he ain't gonna have that desire. I'm straight. Keep going.
She will do him good and not evil all days of her life.
So a virtuous woman, her objective, her mindset is to do good by her husband, not evil. All the days of her life. Go ahead.
She seeketh wool and flax, and worketh willingly with her hand.
Go ahead.
She is like the merchant ship, and bringeth her food from afar.
Right.
She riseth also while it is yet night, and she giveth meat to her household, and a portion to her maidens.
Right. Like I'm telling you, a good woman is making his house rock and roll. House is going well, but the woman's on her job. House is not going well, really, because the man ain't gonna get it. That makes any sense. You know what I'm saying? Like, because you still the head, bro. So you come home blaming her, but you need to figure it out. You need to figure out how we gonna get this house back in order. Okay? But if the house going well, that means she been on her job. Go ahead, keep going.
16.
Mm-hmm.
She considereth the field and buyeth.
Right.
With the fruit of her hand, she planteth the vineyard.
Mm-hmm.
She girdeth her loins with strength, and strengthened her arms.
Right. So she ain't lazy. That's all. or dumb, she considers the field and buy it. Like, you might be like, well, we ain't got no money for no field. Right. So all I'm saying is she's spending what she got wisely. That's all. She ain't out here just being frugal, just acting a fool with whatever money we got. Go ahead, keep reading.
She perceiveth that her merchandise is good. Her candle goeth out by night.
Her candle go up, not out by night. Like, you know, she gonna work till it's done. You know what I'm saying? Like, clothes gotta be washed. You know, that don't mean, brother, you can't wash your own clothes. However you set up your house is really on you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, if you the clothes washer, that's cool. Or both of y'all take on that task. You know, I'm not in your home like that today. You know what I'm saying? Because what works for you is what works for you. That's something that you're gonna learn. You know, the woman might can't cook. And you might be like, well, bro, how come you always cooking? I'm like, dude, that's how I got it. I was cooking for what I got. Matter of fact, I don't want her to cook. I'm a chef. You see what I'm saying? So it ain't, you know, I don't want you to think, oh, the woman's job is to be at home cooking. And, like, maybe not. But what's in your house is your house. You see? It's just the fact that we still need to know that there is an established order in your house. That's all. Now, whatever, hey, and man say, hey, look, matter of fact, you make 80 grand, I can't make that kind of money. Go work. I'll take care of all 80 kids we have. That's how I rock. That's y'all decision. Okay? But see that in this world though, whew, that's rough because women really have a hard time being humble. They making all the money. You know, they come home, my wife check come home, and it takes 2 months for him to make what she done made in a week. Take a real special type of woman to be able to handle that. And it takes a special type of man. You know, but it can be done when you understand that all this money just came from the Lord. The fact that you got the ability to be, you know, nurse such and such, or doctor whomever, or attorney whatever, while I'm out here picking out trash, like that job came from the Lord. That skill. When you can recognize that, then everybody can be in their place. And we don't care, it ain't a matter of, well, who brought in this much or who brought in that much. See, that be the problem with us. We always worried about what somebody else done brought to the table. Instead of just, man, if you're capable of doing it all, then I guess that's what you're capable of doing. Then go do it. We be dealing with that like at the feast. Like, oh yeah, well, you know, such and such ain't made nothing. I made all this. Like, look, that's cool. Like, if you can make all that, thank you. That's the answer to you. Thank you. I'm glad you was able to do it. You know, because obviously we needed you to do it. But no, but you should be trying to look, why are you worrying about what we should be doing for such and such? Not to say that what you said ain't necessarily true. But why are you worrying about that? You just keep doing what you do and you thank God that you're able to do what you do. That's right. All right. Where we at though, bro? All right, go ahead. Verse 19.
She gave her hands to the spindle, and her hands hold the distaff.
Go ahead.
She stretcheth out her hand to the poor. Yea, she reaches forth her hands to the needy.
Right.
She is not afraid of the snow for her household. For all her household are clothed with scarlet.
We're talking about this virtuous woman. All he said is virtuous woman. She works. She makes sure this house is straight. Go ahead.
She maketh herself covering of tapestry. Her clothing is silk and purple.
Whereas her husband is what? Go ahead.
Her husband is known in the gates, when he sitteth among the elders of the land.
Right. Like, so, you know, when you got a virtuous woman, so like when you got a man, like his wife, it didn't say like, well, this virtuous woman, she's sitting there getting in all the intellectual conversations with all the brothers, nothing like that. It's showing you where she at. She making sure the house is ran. We see it around here. We see it in church. Brothers get, you know, they get together. Just, you know, they hold conversations, and the sisters be with their babies, making sure the kids stuff. Like we see it. Even though they might talk to some old sisters, you know what I'm saying? But typically, it's not that often that you see. I mean, it might be a woman or two, and it's cool, like with Mary and Martha. You go look at the story of Mary and Martha. I think it was Mary was tripping on Martha. No, Martha was tripping on Mary because she was in there with Jesus and them. And while she was in there cooking, and he like, okay, like it's cool. Like we need you to go in there and cook, and she cool too. Meaning, like, you know, there's nothing wrong with the women. Definitely nothing wrong with women getting word. When I say nothing wrong, like by all means. I mean, when they say study to show yourself approved, that's talking to men and women. All right, they ain't just talking to the men. Because really, in order for my wife to come in the house and show me what I'm doing wrong, guess what she gonna need? That book. That's what she gonna need. If she ain't got no book, I don't even hear it. I'll be like, that's just your opinion. I'm sorry. You're gonna need to come with some type of something. You're gonna need to come with God behind this. God gonna motivate me and move and cause me to move. So I'm saying, sisters, take notes. Like God is what's gonna scare your husband. Ain't nothing you ain't gonna scare him. You know, oh, I'm leaving if you don't do such and such. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Like your ultimatum didn't just do nothing to him. You know, so that's how a woman is going to ultimately rule or win in the situation in the home. You got to bring that Bible. You got to bring that word of God. So you got to study too. So I'm definitely not saying that. But typically, the virtuous woman, you know, she handling the business, and the men typically, they out here chopping it up, studying it, you know, like I said, her husband is known in the gates amongst the elders. What verse are we at? All right, verse 23, read that again.
Her husband is known in the gates, when he sitteth among the elders of the land.
Go ahead.
She maketh fine linen and selleth it, and delivereth girdles unto the merchant. Strength and honor are her clothing.
Right, strength and honor. She ain't weak. It said weaker vessel. It didn't call her weakling or something. It said it says strength and honor are her clothing. She's definitely strong. Really, probably stronger than that man in most cases. Because I ain't never seen a woman go through some of these things. Let alone that childbirth stuff, man. Look at that. It's not for me. Y'all should have seen me when I had told my knee up. Man, I'm in bed. Man, that's her. Just boo-hooing. You know, like, I mean, I'm in such great pain for it. Then later on, I see her. We at the hospital. This is the first baby. And they like, hey, Raquel, you must be over there asleep. I'm like, no, I ain't asleep. She in labor, though. I'm sitting here like, hey, I thought labor was supposed to hurt. You know, so I mean, so I get it. Like, like a woman is definitely not weak, even though the book says she's a weaker vessel. That's just when we start talking about a weaker vessel, we just talking about for how the world put the drama on you in a physical capacity. Yeah, we're gonna be strong, and we're gonna be able to handle some of the things. We're not going to be as emotional about some of the things. Like when my daughter broke her arm. My daughter broke her arm. Man, y'all should see my wife is like. I'm not almost hysterical. Me, I'm just walking around like nothing just happened. My baby is boo-hooing. I'm like, come on, pick you up, put you in the car, let's go. Because I know there ain't nothing I can do about it right now, but I also understand she hurt because her daughter hurt. And it's like, you know, she like, get her fixed. So that's the difference in men and women. All right? Go ahead, keep reading. What minute, 24? Oh, 26, go ahead.
She openeth her mouth with wisdom, and in her tongue is the law of kindness.
So this is what a woman is supposed to be. Her mouth should be with wisdom. Tongue, and her tongue, the law of kindness. I mean, you gotta have to know something. Keep reading.
She looketh well to the ways of her household.
Yes, she does.
And eateth not the bread of idleness.
She ain't lazy. Keep reading.
Her children arise up and call her blessed. Her husband also, and he praises them.
Yes, sir. Keep reading.
Many daughters have done virtuous. But thou in excellence excelleth them all. Favor is deceitful, and beauty is vain.
So remember that, brothers. Favor is deceitful. Beauty is vain. It passes. I told this story a couple days ago. My daddy asked me when I was at my wedding, why do you love your wife? That's what he said. Like, why do you love your wife? Hey, I'm like, come on, Pop, I'll be going wife. I don't know, Dad. Why do you love your wife? I know. Okay, Dad, I love my wife. I don't know why I love her. So before he made me keep going, he was like, good, you don't need no reason to love her. Because if you had a reason that you love her, then when that reason fades, that love fades. So if it was like, oh, well, I love my wife, she's the most beautiful thing ever. Okay, so what happens when she get up? Because, I mean, she's going to get a little wrinkle. She's going to get older. What if she get in the car accident? Or I love her because she can cook. Well, what if our food don't taste so good no more? Just get the ingredients. So all we're getting at is favor is deceitful, beauty is vain. Like don't get caught up in. And I'm not saying, brothers, you don't want your wife to look good. That ain't the point. Just know when you walking down the street and somebody look better, just know that ain't no but a little case. You don't know what is inside the case. It might be all hell inside that case. You might have wicked into the rain as far as you could, like Joseph did. Go ahead, keep reading.
All right. Favor is deceitful, beauty is vain. But a woman that feareth the Lord she shall be praised.
Right, but when a woman fears God, then she gonna get her praise. Like, you know, somebody might be beautiful, that might get talked about. That ain't eternal. But a woman that fears God, she gonna get her praise. Go ahead, finish that verse.
Give her of the fruit of her hands, and let her own works praise her in the gates.
All right, Colossians 3. We almost done. Colossians chapter 3. Colossians chapter 3. And I appreciate your patience with me today as we go through this, because this is probably one of the more difficult subject matters to deal with in Israel, because everybody got an opinion on what's supposed to be going on in the house. And really, if you learn anything today, I just want you to learn that it's order and it starts with the man.
That's right.
And that the man does have to function with his wife in a certain type of way. But women, you got to also stay in your lane, play your position. And if you got a problem, sisters, hey, look, you got women that you see that are successful in their marriage, go holler at them. How'd you make it through this? What do I need to change to make this work this way or that way? Brothers, you see somebody and they take care of their wives for 35, 40 years, that's a conversation you need to have. How did you figure this out? And then even in some cases, you want to talk to some of these brothers who ain't got no wives. These older men who they wife, they have been divorced or whatever, because if they wild, they'll tell you, you don't want to let them stay out with this. So, you know, if anything today, I just hope that we learn that, look, God is about order. The household is supposed to be established in order. And when it ain't in order, let me tell you what happened when something ain't in order. Y'all remember the story of Jonah, right? Y'all remember the story? We gotta go read. Y'all better tell me y'all remember. Jonah was told to go do something. He said, hey, you need to go down to Nineveh. All right? And Jonah decides that he gonna do it his way because he don't like the order of the people that's in Nineveh and the fact that God's sending him. So Jonah gets slick and get on the boat like I'm going somewhere else, and the Lord still finds him. And when the Lord finds him, he throws him in the belly of the whale, as it is referred to in the Bible as hell, for 3 days and 3 nights. And what I'm trying to get us to understand is, look, when you want to jump out the order, all you're doing is putting yourself in harm's way. You putting yourself in a position where, hey, you might be in hell because you just don't want to follow order. That's all. And it ain't women. Look, it ain't this man that you're supposed to be looking to like he's God. It is God that you are looking to like God. It is God that you're putting your trust in. It is God that you are expecting to get your husband straight. Because you ain't gonna straighten no man out. I'm just gonna tell you, ain't no woman in here gonna change no man. But the Lord definitely can. And you can pray for him and you can continue to. And if he wants to be a fool, the Lord will handle that. But don't you be no fool and follow him on the pathway to hell. These are some of the things that I hope we gather today. So anyway, Colossians, we just got a couple more. Chapter 3, verse 18. When you get there, go ahead.
Wives, submit yourselves unto your own husbands, as it is fit in the Lord. Husbands, love your wives, and be not bitter against them.
Right. Like you can't be bitter against your wife. Like it's not her fault that you with her. Y'all did this together. So that means you gotta leave, like you gotta figure out a way, and it ain't got nothing to do with you personally. Take it to God. If you need his help, I need to figure out how to love my wife more. You get on your knees and pray about it. Because husbands, you're supposed to love your wives. Go ahead, read some more.
Children, obey your parents.
Right. So after we figure all that, the children, they got to be obedient too. Go ahead.
In all things. For this is well pleasing unto the Lord. Fathers, provoke not your children to anger, lest they be discouraged.
And you ain't also provoking your wives to anger. See, I've seen situations where brothers don't really want to be with their wives. They do little slick stuff to make their wife hate them. And then next thing you know, years later, now they wife gone. And you think everybody looking at her like it was her. But really, I seen you. I was watching you, how you was really dealing with your wife. And how you was doing these little slick things to make her despise you. See, that happens. You see what I'm saying? So he's telling you here, fathers, provoke not your children to anger. Same thing with these men. Don't be provoking your wife to anger. The Lord seeing that. You placing yourself out of order with that too. Husbands, that go for you as well. Let's Read verse 23. I know we skipping 22, but that don't really matter. Go ahead.
And whatsoever ye do, do it heartily as the Lord and not unto men.
Right, so whatever you're doing in this relationship, it's to the Lord. Baby, I ain't loving you like you think because of you. It's because I'm afraid of my God. I don't want him to deal with the consequences. So yeah, I'm going to be obedient in this situation. You see what I'm saying? Like that's how it be sometimes. But it's to the Lord. And you're gonna let the Lord deal with whatever he or she ain't. That's how you win. All right. Let's see, we didn't move wrong. Okay. Let's now go to 1 Corinthians chapter 7. 1 Corinthians chapter 7. So we go to chapter. I know we put it at the end. We started here. We basically ended here. We just go Ecclesiastes 9. You can look at that on your own. We read that last week anyway. You were for those that were able to catch the lesson. And in Ecclesiastes 4, we're in. That's where we're in. So we're in 1 Corinthians chapter 7, and we're gonna start this off. Now we left it at verse. We started at verse 1 and 2, and it said, "Look, it's good that a man get a wife. To avoid fornication, let every man have his own wife, and let every woman have her own husband." All right. Verse 3. Go ahead.
Let the husband render unto the wife due benevolence. And likewise also the wife unto the husband.
Keep reading.
The wife hath not power of her own body, but the husband. And likewise also the husband hath not power of his own body, but the wife.
Keep reading.
Defraud ye not one of the other, except it be with consent for a time,
right?
That ye may give yourselves to a fasting and prayer, and come together again, and Satan tempt you not for your incontinence.
Yeah, that's good. Inconsistency. But you know, if y'all know how to say it in the dictionary, your phone will do it. Ain't that right, Josh? We was in the office all day yesterday. I just like the way that words sound. But look. What this is saying, the reason I made him read it all the way through, it said, let the husband render unto his wife due benevolence. The wife has not power over her own body, but the husband likewise also. Look, we can't be holding out, brothers and sisters. Like, look, you can't be, maybe I got a headache. And maybe you really do, though. And in that case, especially if you don't always do it, then maybe that's not necessarily you holding out. But you get what we're getting at. You can't be mad at your husband or your wife and you sleeping on the sofa, I'm sleeping on another room, or whatever the case may be. Because, brothers and sisters, like it said at the end, it says, likewise also the husband has not power of his body, verse 4, but the wife. But defraud ye not one another, except people consent for a time. Like you don't want to come together with your husband and wife. Yeah, y'all can agree to that for a time, and like he said, it's for fasting and praying. He said, that Satan tempts you not for your, look, remember how you say that word? Basically saying you're being inconsistent. So if you ain't being active enough for the two of you, then Satan gonna come in and just like, hey, she gonna be at work tapping on his shoulder. Or brothers, he gonna be Rico Suave pulling up in that nice Benz, smelling all good. You understand what I'm getting at? Like, don't put your wife or your husband in a situation where they got to want to look out for something else. Or when something else comes that it itches that ear even. Because you're supposed to be enough one for another. You ain't got to worry about with somebody else coming through. But when you trying to be holding out, having your attitudes, we didn't read this, but it's another place in the Bible that says you don't even want to let the sun go down on your right. That's right. Like, and I seen this white couple, I put them on my Facebook page a couple of days ago. Gentile couple, old. They were married for about maybe 49 years or something. And they was giving you the keys to it. And this wasn't even no religious post. He was like, look, I was told you don't let the sun go down on your way. We don't go to bed mad at each other. This is part of the success for being married. Like, you got to learn to let some of this stuff go. Seriously, you got to let, okay, at the end of the day, look, we disagree. We got to learn in this case. We got to learn to disagree with each other and keep it moving. Like, that's how, otherwise, you're going to keep festering a problem that's going to continue to grow. It's going to grow like a cancer, and it's going to destroy the relationship. And you're going to look across, and you're going to hate this person and despise this person. And whereas it was something small at first that you could have just squashed. I just let it go by the end of the day. So now we gotta talk about it before we go to bed, but we gotta agree that we ain't gonna go to bed with this on our plate. We ain't gonna be mad at each other about this. Maybe we disagree, but we ain't gonna go to bed mad about this. So we ain't supposed to be holding out. All right, now we'll see what verse did it take us. So let's go to verse 10 now. Go ahead.
And unto the married I command, ye not I, but the Lord. Let not the wife depart from her husband.
So look, brothers, sisters, the wife ain't supposed to leave. Divorce ain't in the Bible. When I say it ain't in the Bible, like it wasn't so from the beginning. When we go to Adam and Eve in the very beginning, divorce wasn't an option. It was man became husband and wife, and that's right. Now Moses gave them a right to written decree of divorcement, but really, like it wasn't never supposed to be the option. So he said, and unto the married, I command, yeah, not I, but the Lord. Let not the wife depart from her husband. But if she gotta go somewhere, go ahead.
And if she depart, let her remain unmarried.
So this is the conversation you're gonna hold with me when you talking about leaving your husband. I'm gonna be like, look, the book said don't go nowhere, but if you're gonna go somewhere, you know you can't get remarried. So you know you're just gonna be just by yourself. I'm talking about, I don't care what he be on, you're gonna be by yourself for the rest of your days. You can figure it out, or you can be by yourself. Show option. Go ahead.
Or be reconciled to her husband.
Or you can be back with you. That's what I say, figure it out, or be on your own. Go ahead.
And let not the husband put away his wife.
Right, brothers, we don't put away our wives. The kind of me you want to know, man, I can't stand it no more. Oh, that's tough, bro. You better figure it out. You can't do the one you love the one you're with. You're gonna figure that one out. You're gonna have to figure it out. Like, I'm not gonna give you the option to say you can put her away, none of that. Answer 0. Go ahead, keep reading.
But to the rest speak I, not the Lord.
So now he's saying, well, here goes some wisdom about the situation. Go ahead.
If any brother hath a wife that believeth not, and she pleased to dwell with him, let him not put her away.
Right, so now if a brother got a wife and she is pleased to be there, then don't put her away. And you know what I'm saying, how you know she's pleased to be there? Because she's still there. Every night she's still there. You say don't cook no pork, don't cook no pork. For you, she might still eat it. That might be a problem. I don't know. I don't want to kiss you eat pork. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm just telling you, so maybe that's something you would need to convey. Like, look, like, I don't eat this pork no more. You're going to have to stop eating. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, you ain't coming to church with me. That's cool, but because that might be, you know, because I mean, just imagine somebody finna eat lobsters. It's like, you know, all they talking about, sometimes people talk speak, coming out like that. Right, I don't care if it is your husband and your wife. So that's why I say when we start talking about please to dwell, I'm like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? I guess that's kind of a matter of interpretation, honestly. You know what I'm saying? Because like that's gonna be a problem with me. You know, like it is. You know, but still, this is him giving his opinion. He said the one would have a husband that believeth not, and if he be pleased to dwell with her, let her not leave him. Did I skip a verse? That's what we was at. Oh, so I just read the next verse, huh? Oh, that's all good. Okay, so that worked both ways. If they please to be there, then you ain't going nowhere. Verse 14.
But the unbelieving husband is sanctified by the wife.
Right. We talked about this a little bit last week when we talked about the death angel coming through Egypt and how, and look, the Lord didn't check for believers in the house. He just checked the doorpost, and the doorpost had blood on it, so the house was saved. And that's how it operates sometimes. You saved in your house. Just think about it. If you come home, you don't celebrate Christmas, and your husband sitting there, all he doing is watching, what's the story? Come on, Christmas time, Better Life or something. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. Like, but ain't no Christmas tree up, ain't no Christmas dinner, ain't like you really saving his house. Even though he don't do what you do, you still saving that this house wasn't dealing with idolatry. And this goes on year after year to where you save in your house. Brothers and sisters, that's why you ain't got to leave just because they don't believe what you believe. All right, go ahead, keep reading.
And the unbelieving wife is sanctified by the husband. Else were the children unclean, but now are they holy.
All right, keep going.
But if the unbelieving depart, let him depart.
Right.
A brother or sister is not under bondage in such cases, but God hath called us to peace.
So this is just like how we are in today's society. You get into the word, And now, you know, you come home with this, and after time, you can put up with everything. And you're like, well, you know what? You can have your religion, take them dang on church folks with you. I'm out of here. Then the Lord is allowing you to be, in that case, you ain't under the bondage of that marriage. That's what he's showing. This is what Paul is showing us here. If she go or he go and leave because you've been got into this word, then now, because we got people in that situation. We've had people in that situation. So where, you know, he don't want to deal with you no more because you with him. But I would still suggest, especially to the sisters, like, be patient. Don't just hurry to go, you know, when you wait for that divorce, it's fine. Or you make any more moves. That would still be my suggestion. But I'm saying, if that was to happen, then you know you're not under the same yoke of bondage as you would be if you was in the word and, you know, your husband tripping and you decide to leave, and it's like, oh, okay, well, you can't remarry. Well, if your husband tripping and he ain't in the word and he leave you and he go out here and get a divorce, y'all done. And you're not under that same level of bondage. Okay? All right, keep reading. Verse 16. Even though divorce ain't really supposed to be so easy, but just say, go ahead.
For what knowest thou, O wife, whether thou shalt save thy husband? Or how knowest thou, O man, whether thou shalt save thy wife?
Right, he said, look, you might save your husband or your wife. So don't be so quick to run out on when you married, when you was in love with back in high school. So now you get in the word and it's like, oh, I don't like you no more. Like, it ain't supposed to be like that. Let's go over here to verse 25. When you get there, go ahead.
Now concerning virgins, I have no commandment of the Lord, yet I give my judgment as one that hath obtained mercy of the Lord to be faithful. I suppose, therefore, that this is good for the present distress, I say, that it's good for a man so to be.
Go ahead.
Art thou bound unto a wife? Seek not to be loosed. Art thou loosed from a wife? Seek not a wife.
So what he getting at is he's saying, look, if at all possible, it's best to just, this is Paul giving his opinion. And he gonna tell you why he's giving his opinion. But if you ain't got no husband or no wife, don't worry. That's what he tells you. Keep it. You ain't got to be so pressed to go get one. But remember, he started this chapter off saying, nevertheless, to avoid fornication, let every man have his own wife. Like if you can't hold it, then that's what you need to do. All right. But this is we gonna read this. Go ahead. What verse are we at? 28. Go ahead.
But if thou marry, thou hast not sinned.
Right. You get married, you ain't did nothing wrong. Virgins. Go ahead.
And if a virgin marry, she hath not sinned. Nevertheless, such shall have trouble in the flesh, but I spare you.
Go ahead. So he said, I'm trying to spare you the problem. If you a virgin, stay there. This is what Paul is telling you. Because once that happened, then now you'll have new emotions. Go ahead.
But this I say, brethren, this time is short. It remaineth that both they that have wives be as though they have had none.
Right, he said, because the time is getting to the point where men who got wives, like you looking to be so married, but you know, times is getting worse and worse, and you know, we out here spreading the gospel more and more. Like it's gonna be to a point where it's gonna be like, man, ain't got no wife. Not like you ain't got them, but you just gonna be doing so much other stuff so busy that it's gonna be like you ain't with them like you would like to. Go ahead, keep reading.
And they that weep, as though they wept not. And they that rejoice, as though they have rejoiced not.
Go ahead.
And they that buy, as though they possessed not.
Go ahead.
And they that use this world, as not abusing it. For the fashion of this world passes away.
32. Go ahead.
But I would have you without carefulness. He that is unmarried careth for the things that belong to the Lord.
So this is why we really hear when we looking at this. When you are unmarried, what you gonna deal with, or your cares are gonna be things that's for the Lord. That's it. That's all your focus is. Go ahead.
How he may please the Lord.
Right.
But he that is married,
but when you marry, look what you gotta care about.
Care for the things that are of the world, how he may please his wife.
Right, and that is one of your jobs, brother, that you gotta keep this wife happy, please. That's what you gotta do. And that's what happens when you get one. When you ain't got one, you ain't got nobody to worry about but yourself. Now you marry men and women, you got somebody else that you have to worry about. It's not a bad thing, it's just the fact of the matter. Go ahead.
34. There's a difference also between a wife and a virgin.
Right.
The unmarried woman careth for the things of the Lord, that she may be holy both in body and in spirit.
Right.
But she that is married careth for the things of the world, how she may please her husband.
And again, we say the same thing. That, hey, to the women, your job is still here to please the husband. I mean, that's what you're trying to do, and that's what you got to care about when you marry. So he's saying, like, if you ain't married, you know, especially to our younger women, like, look, you cool. Go get your education. You know what I'm saying? You know, go ahead and stay at home with your mama and help her around the house. And eventually that day will come. Because once that day comes, now what you got to deal with is him. And everything that comes with him. Now that's your responsibility. You are obligated to love and take care of him. Same with the men. Hey, brothers, you know what I'm saying? Go out there, get your education, get you some work, get you some money. You know what I'm saying? Like, make yourself marketable. If you understand what I mean. Don't be in such a rush, brothers. Like, eventually, the more you got, the more marketable you are. But the more you got, the more liberty you're going to have in this life. So, you know what I'm saying? Be patient with it and serve your God and wait your time. Isaac was 40. So I'm saying you can wait your time. All right? But go ahead, but at the same time, remember in the same chapter, he's telling you, like, look, though, hey, if you avoid fornication, hey, go get married. But go ahead, what verse are we at? 35, go ahead.
This I speak for your own profit, not that I may cast a snare upon you.
Or a trap, go ahead, upon you, go ahead.
For that which is coming, and that ye may attend upon the Lord without distraction.
So he's saying, look, I'm telling you all this, not that I'm trying to set you up for failure, but so that you can serve God. If you don't have a husband or wife, just relax. That's what he's really saying, and that it'll be for your good. Go ahead.
But if any man think that he behaveth himself uncomely towards his virgin, if she pass the flowers of her age and needs him required, let him do what he will. He sinneth not. Let them marry.
So what he's saying is, but if you know a sister getting older and she still ain't married, ain't nothing wrong with her going ahead and getting married. You know, the brother see in that situation and she ain't married, like, okay, y'all can make that work. You know what I'm saying? But all he was saying at the end of his passage is, look, just don't be in such a rush to go and get married. Because when you get married, now you got a whole new animal of problems that you got to deal with. Because you got to figure this out now. And it may get a little easier with time, but trust me, it's going to come as we're going through roads. Let's go to our last scripture, Ecclesiastes chapter 4. Ecclesiastes chapter 4. You know, I wore some of y'all out today, but I definitely appreciate y'all taking this journey in the Bible with me today. Hopefully we all comprehend, learn something. I hope you was able to grasp something that's going to help better your marriage, or help better the counsel that you provide to somebody that's married. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes, you might be like, some people just got good marriage. I ain't even gonna trip. Like, some people really do. And they don't really have marriage problems, right? But you still counseling people, and you gotta understand that people are different. And maybe y'all just fit too perfect like a glove. That's cool. But when you get your counsel, you gotta understand that everybody ain't true. Ecclesiastes chapter 4, and let's pick this up at verse 4. Pick this up at verse 4. And it seems like I skipped Proverbs 19 for some reason.
You did.
I ain't meaning to. Well, I know what that say too. All right, I ain't gonna pick up nobody. Y'all read that on y'all. That's what I'm going to look at it. I know what it is. Yeah, right? I ain't gonna pick on nobody. Y'all read that. Y'all put that in your mental Rolodex, brothers and sisters. Yeah. I didn't mean to skip that. I don't know how I did. I guess I started working both papers. But we get in the picture. But make sure you read that Proverbs. Ecclesiastes, and we're gonna start this at chapter 4, and we're gonna run it down to verse 12. When you get there, go ahead and read.
Again, I consider all travail and every right work, that for this a man is envied of his neighbor. This is also a vanity and vexation of spirit. Mm-hmm. The fool foldeth his hands together and eateth his own flesh. Better is an handful with quietness than both the hands full with travail and vexation of spirit.
So look, it's saying better is to have nothing, a handful of quietness, and you get everything and you get to keep the problems. I want you to remember that when you go home. When you find your husband and he don't went and found the corner of the house, because he don't want to hear all that in his ear. Remember that. Or your wife ain't saying nothing. She just sitting there washing dishes. And, you say, hey, baby, like, if you remember, like sometimes it's about the fact that, you bring in so much now. And I say you bring in so much drama here. Like you being mean, whatever the case is. And to some people, the Bible shows you it's better to have a handful of quiet than to both hands be full with travail and vexation of spirit, with problems. Go ahead.
Then I returned and I saw vanity under the sun. There is one alone.
But when it's all said and done, one dude is all by himself. Go ahead.
And there is not a second.
Right.
Yeah, he had neither child nor brother. Yet is there no end of all his labor.
So notice what it says. He's still gonna be working though. You ain't got no child, no wife, no nothing. You still work though. Go ahead.
Neither is his eye satisfied with riches. Neither saith he, for whom do I labor, and bereave my soul of good. This is also vanity, yet it's a sore travail. Right,
he's saying like it's one that's alone, and he's gonna be out here, he's gonna be working. He really ain't gonna have nobody to leave to him, but he's still gonna be working. He gonna never be satisfied with working. But now watch this. Go ahead.
Two are better than one.
Right, so when it's all said and done, brothers and sisters, two is better than one. Like the Lord knew what he was talking about when he said it is not bad for good to be alone. Two is better than one. Go ahead.
Because they have a good reward for their labor.
Right, because once they team up together, they can build something. They can create something that's going to actually be something. All right, go ahead.
For if they fall, the one will lift up his fellow.
Right, and if two is better than one, and if I fall, my wife can lift me up. Whether I fall spiritually or just in the world. Just like we was talking the other day about the brother and sister who going through their issue this week. Don't know if y'all heard it, but, Brother Ira, he'll be back, soon enough. Right now, he's taking care of his business. We'll talk about that later. But at the same time, she helping picking him up right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what she, like, but if he was by himself, oh, man, that road would be far more miserable for him. You understand? So when somebody falls, it don't just mean, in the word, just a life period. Like when you get old, you're going to want somebody to help you walk up them steps now. So that you ain't moving as quick as you used to. Or somebody going to need to be your new eyes. You're going to be like, hey, babe, I can't see like I used to. I need you to read to see some better. All right? So two better than one. Go ahead.
Woe to him that is alone. When he falleth, for he hath not another to help him up.
Right. So because if you by yourself, y'all do that conversion. I follow, I can't get up. There we go. Woe be to that old lady that's by herself. Because there ain't nobody there to help except for the camera. Right, but I mean, y'all get the picture though. When you by yourself, you're gonna need some help. So if being married is beautiful, because that's what you make it, or you can make it a life of hell on yourself, and you just constantly battling with somebody over and over, like it ain't worth it. It's not gonna profit you in the end. Go ahead, keep reading.
11. Again, if two lie together, then they have heat. But how can one be warm alone?
Unless you keep taking out the cover. But no, but seriously though, all he's just saying is like by yourself is way more difficult. But when you got somebody with you, you can get some things accomplished. Go ahead.
And if one prevails against them, two shall withstand him, and a threefold cord is not quickly broken.
Right, and the family is even greater. When you say like fold cord, like a family is even greater. Like you got brothers and sisters, but then you got a husband and wife, but when it's all said and done, we the family. So that makes us even more powerful. So brothers and sisters, I hope that we got some understanding today. Husbands, love your wives, and I thank you for your time. A couple of other additional announcements. Next Thursday, we have a fast from Thursday night to Friday, and I'm gonna ask us here, and some of us we do it. Church has a monthly fast. All right, church has a monthly fast, but you do or don't have to do it. And I still don't know. Nobody got to come and say nothing to me whether you gonna do it or not. But like we was talking about last week, and I'm saying it again, that Brother Ira right now is incarcerated. He ain't no criminal, he ain't did nothing. Look, Brother Ira was broke, he got a lot of speeding tickets, all that type of crap, so maybe he needs to slow it down out there. I mean, okay, we can say that, you know. But regardless of the fact, you know, he in there preaching the gospel, but he in there, and he gonna ride it out instead of trying to pay. And if it's anything like I know, I've been in that situation. Michigan was crazy. They had you pay $200 per ticket per year, and that's regardless of the state. I mean, it was just ridiculous. I ended up on Michigan so much money. I think I still owe Michigan. It's over 10 years ago, right? So what I'm getting at is sometimes it's easy to just be like, you know what? Instead of blowing money off of everybody around here to figure it out, right? It's like, look, I'll just ride it out. You know what I'm saying? And that's what Ira chose to do. We're gonna keep his wife in prayer. Who, by the way, since Sharice lost her grandmother, her mother's mother. So, right. So what I'm trying to get us to understand is not to put my sister out there, but she is going through real hell. And so I'm expecting us to be there for her. And we are going to be there for her, right? That's right. Right? That's right. Yes. All right, so make sure we all agree, okay? So when we had this fast next Thursday, I'm saying that I'm asking for us to fast for her and her family, as well as for whatever we going through or whatever, but I'm saying we're a man down. So I'm like, you know, we're a man down, then we go take it to the Lord. And I've seen in the Bible where, oh man, Peter was in there and shoot, the angels broke him out. So, you know what I'm saying? Like I want y'all to read, I want to show you something in Proverbs real quick. Let's go to Proverbs, I think it's 29. Yeah, Proverbs 29. I want us to see this real quick. We're going to read 25. I want you to understand that regardless of what man say, God is in control. And, you know, I'm talking to my brother Nate, and he was like, man, the Lord know what he be doing. Because, you know, brother, our leg was already beat. So he was going to be down. So the Lord, you know what I'm saying? Like, let's go ahead and handle this. Let's get you in here. Let's go preach some gospel. You know what I'm saying? Going to, like, let's handle some business. Like, it ain't all bad. But at the same time, though, it still be hurt. Only nights for both. You know what I'm saying? We ain't gonna harp on all that. So, but I want you to get this. Proverbs 29, verse 25. And Proverbs 29 and 25. When you get there, go ahead.
Fear of man brings the snare.
When you afraid of man, that you set a trap for yourself. So when you afraid of these judges, these lawyers, these laws, you set a trap for yourself. Go ahead.
But whoso putteth his trust in the Lord shall be safe.
But if you put your trust in God, that's where your safety lies. Keep reading.
Many seek the ruler's favor.
Right, people seeking the favor of the ruler. Like, you know, let's go get this lawyer so we can go through this, that, and the other. But watch what this verse says.
But every man's judgment cometh from the Lord.
Right, but it's the Lord that got the judgment done. That's who you need to be coming to save the day. So, you know, like I said, the church, we have a fast next Thursday night, and I'm asking us to join in and participate. You ain't got to come to me. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to pay no, but I'm saying consider that and pray for my brother and his wife as they, you know, deal with their tribulation that they're going to be able to handle regardless. You pray if not. You know what I'm saying? It'll help them. And other than that, let me see the fast. Again, we did, I did want to make this announcement about the feast. We did pretty good as far as our participation. I'm just gonna let you know for Tabernacle next year, you know, we're gonna try to do all 7 days, and then on the 8th day, the church will provide the food. This is how it was with Gary. Elijah just didn't get the memo out. That's how it was, right? It went pretty good, didn't it? Yeah, so we'll, you know, and in Gary, they had an opportunity to kind of go to another camp at the house of Jacob. They go every day hard at a big banquet hall. So it makes it easy for everybody around, but we're going to try to see if we can. I'm telling you now, and I'm going to remind you again, because next year, Lord willing, we are here. I want to be here every day. You know what I'm saying? And it ain't hard. Like, trust me, 7 days of Christmas wasn't hard, and we did that. We bleeding bells on, and it was safe. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, we can pull it off. But I think we did do a great job this time. You know, I appreciate everybody keeping the church clean, you know, coming up here doing that type of stuff during that week. I will say I appreciate working through my chicken today. My wife had a nice little pan of chicken and greens sitting out. I just want to let everybody know that now I had to eat crap yesterday because I thought we eat shit. No. But no, seriously, no, we didn't eat no crap. We ate real food. Right? I put that in mind, like, look, this goes for the refrigerator too. If you ain't bought and you didn't bring it here, leave it alone. And if you see something that you like and you don't know who to ask, guess who you really can ask? Me. And I'll tell you who it belongs to, or I'll find out for you. Because when you do that, you steal it. That's really what you do. Oh, it's just petty. It's just some drink in here. Did you buy it? Now you can buy things and participate, and now you got the liberty to go in there and grab what you buy. And it is some things that may be there for the church. Somebody might buy, hey, I'm going to buy a whole bunch of drink bags for the church. But guess what? If you ain't bought it, you don't know it. And when you come to me, I'll be like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they there for everybody. Go ahead and grab it. And I'm not the only person that's going to know what I'm saying. I'm definitely going to know. So I'm saying, make sure that we keep that in mind. If it don't belong to you, just leave it alone. And then my chicken would still be here. My little chicken would be here. Yeah, right. So, but other than that, though, I mean, like I said, we did a great job with the feast, and I really appreciate, you know, the participation that I got from quite a few brothers coming up here, because I was up here every night, and you know, so that was great. So other than that, is there anything else? All right, so our regular announcement then, my brother.
We welcome you and hope today's lessons increase your knowledge of the Holy Bible. Audio, video tapes, CDs, and DVDs of Sabbath lessons, Thy Kingdom Come, are available. Write your order on an offering envelope and it will be filled next Sabbath. If you are interested in being baptized, please place your name on the list at the literature table. Remember to follow the dress code when attending our services. Men should remove hats and all head coverings during the service. Women should wear a head covering, such as a hat or a scarf during the service. Women should not wear tight-fitting pants or skirts or revealing clothing. Attire should be modest according to the Bible. Your tithes and offerings are always appreciated. Please place your tithes and offerings in an offering envelope and deposit it in the offering box. If your child becomes restless during the Bible lesson, we encourage you to remove your child from the room until he or she has settled. Your cooperation is greatly appreciated, and again, thank you for coming, and we hope to see you on the next Sabbath. Peace.
Peace. Bible study will be, what time is it now? Well, that was a long class. Bible study will be at 4:30. So, you know. Other than that, stand face the rules.
Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done. In earth, as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Give us our debts. As we forgive our debtors. Lead us not to temptation. Deliver us from evil. Thine is the kingdom. And the power. And the glory forever. Praise the Lord. He is good. His mercy endureth forever. Praise the Lord, God of Israel. For he is good. And his mercy endureth forever. It's in Jesus' name we pray. The Holy One of Israel. The mighty One of Jacob. King of kings. And Lord of lords. Amen. Hallelujah. In Jesus' name. Amen.